Evening, folks. Thanks for coming in. Hope you're all safe and well. You're all very welcome. Tonight we have two lovely, young, bubbly ladies in.
Hi!
And Sarah from Pttp. See, I've tried Pttp.
What was it? Paranormal. Pttp.
Yeah, I always get it.
to their group. They're for their group. So it's just a laid back, lively chat. This is the first time I've met Rosie and Sarah, and we just get to know them. So any questions, anything, throw them into the chat, throw them into the comments, and I'm sure the ladies will be more than happy to answer them for you. So I'm going to start off the usual way, girls. I say I've not researched these because, as I said earlier on, you research somebody and you know what they're going to tell you. So just tell us about yourself, PTT, that your group and stuff.
Yeah, of course. I'll let you go first. Let you start.
Well, I think we've been in other groups before.
Yeah.
But Portal to the Paranormal was initiated in July. January this year.
Yeah.
But we're all experienced paranormal investigators. So we've all been to different locations in Hampshire and all over the UK, really.
Yeah.
And so Dan Winter is our manager.
Big bearded boss man.
Yeah, big beardy. He does easy tops, doesn't he? And then there's Jojo.
We've got Jojo. So we've got Dan and Lauren. So they're partners. And they're boss. We've got Jojo and Sean. Then their husband and wife as well, getting team leaders.
Yeah.
Then Little Joe. She's called Little Joe because Jojo and Little Joe. We then have Nikki. She comes from Brighton. So
pink hair.
Yeah. Big, bright red pink hair. So you always see her on the live cameras.
And we have our resident weirdo who is a psychic medium, Jamie.
Yeah, called her Jamie.
He's very sensitive, isn't he?
Yeah, very sensitive, yeah.
And we have a website, www.portalsforparanormal.co.uk. Sorry. We have all our listings there for our events. So we take members of the public on these events. We're all over. We've got some.
Oh yeah, we go up and down the country. Yeah. So we're based in Southampton, in Hampshire, down in the south. So obviously we do our investigations. Like last night, we were at Fort Whitley. It's amazing. World War II tunnels.
World War One. And it goes back even further, doesn't it?
Yeah. But then we then come up to somewhere like York. We're going to 30 East Drive, so Pontefract. And we're hoping to get into Scotland to go and do some of those
Margam Castle in Wales. We've got
Wales. So we go all over the show. Hopefully, we're heading to Scotland soon.
Yeah.
So you're hoping to get across the border, then, are you?
Hoping to.
Yeah, we're going to pick your brains actually on where to go and what to do.
What route to take.
Oh, I see. I don't do anything except for a Twix bar. I'll unload the info. You need to learn the accent first, but.
Pardon?
You need to learn the accent first before you cross that.
Oh, we've been working on that, don't we? I'll go on for you. This is my curveball that we were talking about earlier. Now tell me, it's a brobrick moonlight next to you can.
It's a brobrick moonlight next to night. You know what I mean?
I can't do that. Brobrick.
You got to roll them.
Brobrick.
Brobrick moonlight.
Brobrick moonlight.
Neck.
The brobrick. You get me mixed up, and I'm Scottish. It's a. Coffee Glasgow, for God's sake, you're getting me mixed. It's a brobrick moonlight next to the night.
The brobrick moonlight neck to neck.
No,
I
can't do that.
That's awful.
I can't do a Scottish accent. I'm sorry, guys.
You know what it means?
It's a big bright moon out tonight, you know.
It's a broad, bright moonlight night to night.
Oh, that's quite romantic, it's actually.
Nice. It's really really flowy as well. I love it. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, big bearded boss man's just home saying evening all. That's
evening, Dan.
Is that the big chief?
Oh, he's the big chief. Yeah.
Yeah. He runs the show. He books the events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Daniel. Hi, Gail's one of our team, and Lunge is a good friend of ours. So, Rosie, how did you get into the paranormal?
Oh, how did I get into paranormal? So, when I was younger, I obviously used to go at 3 o'clock in the morning, watch horror movies. My mum always thought that obviously she's going to be one of these weird ones, a night owl. And then I started, my first ever ghost hunt was when I was 18. So I just thought, my friend asked to go with her to the Isle of Wight. And, pardon?
Never said anything.
Oh no, I think there was an echo. Sorry. So go to the Isle of Wight and do a ghost hunt, and from there I just loved it. There was so much activity in this one place. I believe everybody's got senses and psychic ability, and I feel it was just starting to open up. And obviously then watching all the paranormal ghost, like Most Haunted obviously was the one that everyone started with. But yeah, I just got into that and then just loved it ever since, and had so much experience.
She loves Nick Groff.
Nick Groff.
She adores him. Every time she sees him on telly, her ovaries start catapulting. I'm like, crazy, really.
I was saying nothing. I would love to get a hold of Nick. In a professional manner, I mean, not in an elegant manner, you know. We've got Sophie, I can never say it, I'll try and say if I get it wrong then. Temper Early coming on. She's paranormal.com. She's a radio host and that, and I know she's friends with Nick.
Nice. Oh, lovely. Oh, that'd be awesome to watch that one.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes, definitely.
But I know you mean about horror movie. That's how I started, you know, way back when I was a teenager watching Friday the 13th, Part 27, and, you know, stuff like that. And
American Werewolf in London.
Love that film.
Well, you see, I liked Jenny Agutter back then.
Yeah.
You know, I think every guy did. That's why they watched it.
Yeah.
You know, and the effects were good as well. I thought, you know, when you see him changing into the werewolf and that, and I started with Most Haunted, watching Most Haunted as well. But we won't go, you know, leave that one aside. I'm a fan. That's all I'm going to say in it.
Yeah.
And I watched a lot of paranormal shows as well, like yourself. So when you first went out investigating, did you have any big expectations, or were you just going blind kind of thing?
So my first one, obviously, I went in blind because I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, watching the programs, obviously with like Most Haunted, you expect it kind of like be right in your face and like touching you, and the things thrown at you, or you being dragged somewhere. So you kind of go in with an expectation of that. But when I then actually got there, I was more relaxed and I felt really calm. And I was thinking, this isn't scary at all. And then I felt these hands touch me. So that was it. I shouted it down the corridor, and the group was like, and I do have some balls of steel somewhere. I think I lost them a bit of a long time ago, but from that, I just kind of grew them, and now I'm not afraid too much. I will like to go on my own. I do no tortures in my group, so anyone that comes in my group, they hate it sometimes. They do love it, but yeah, my expectations was just, I think, set high, but brought me back down, and now I've had experiences. Love it. Crazy for it.
Chasing the dragon, aren't you?
Oh yeah. If I go to work, I'm like, if someone says ghost hunt, I'm like, oh yeah, now is my story.
This happened.
This happened.
As is, you know, as like a bug, you know, you start, you know, and you just want to keep you all the time. Basically, you know, doing a Friday night, the Saturday morning, you want to get straight back out.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, you know, Saturday night you're right, where can I go? So I think we're all the same. It does latch onto you.
Yeah.
And to get us. But what were you, Sarah? What were your first one?
I had little things happen throughout my youth and that, but where I was a bit scared, I tried to just block it out. But the best one, the one that really got me going, is I was 25 and I had my son. He was about 3 months old, and it was 5 a.m. July. Sun was streaming. It's just morning. Sun was streaming from behind the curtains, and I was just coming to, but I felt like I was in bed, obviously, and I felt like something was poking me on my arm, and I had my baby in his Moses basket, and he's kicking up his duvet. And as I come round, it was there for like at least about 5 seconds. A woman was squatting by the bed, as clear as day, with big brown eyes like mine. And she was poking me with her finger, and I could feel this finger poking me to wake me up. And I think she was curious of my baby, and I think she wanted just me to, I know the person that rented the bungalow to us, they were brother and sister, and then their mother had died in there. But then I've been told previously that it could have been a relative from my Filipino background. Hence, she had these big eyes like me. So I don't know, but it was as real as anything. She had tight curly hair. She was an old lady, big eyes looking at me. And I was like, oh my God, I've just seen a ghost.
Oh,
and as terrifying as it was, I don't feel that she wanted to hurt me. I just think she just was curious, wanted me to either feed my baby or... I remember cleaning that bungalow from top to bottom saying, is this still your house? Don't do that again. And then a few more things have happened since.
Just Gail's me a comment. Gail's, she's part of our team. We were out last night till, I don't know, about 12, 1 o'clock or something. She can't wait till you're back out. We met Gail and her husband, her family in holiday this year, and it was just the last day of the holiday. We were heading over to Pendle for 4 days. And we just casually mentioned to Gail, we're a paranormal channel, and she's right in. So we kept in touch. She joined us, but I think Gail, when she first came out in her first event, she was, as you were saying, you watch Most Haunted or whatever show it is, and you've got this big expectations that the lasies are going to get thrown at you and stuff like that, and it's nothing like that. And I think Gail was the same. She can disagree if she wants. She'll probably put it in the comments. She's quite outspoken, is her Gail. In a good way. So you do get this expectation, but it's nothing like it.
No. My dad can sit there and watch a horror movie like this, and like with the cushion as well. But when I got him to go out onto ghost hunts, he was like, actually, this is really calm. And we had so much activity happen as well. Yeah. He was like, actually, it's more interesting than the horror movie, because the horror movie, you've got the music and the drums. Yeah. That's the bit you don't like, because it's building up to something horror. Yeah. Whereas a ghost hunt, it's just completely different.
And where we take members of the public as well. So we could have a team of 30 people. Yeah. Say, for an example, Markham Castle, we'll split them into 3 groups, because there's 10 of us in our group, isn't it? In our paranormal team. And we have a certain amount of experiments to do in each. We don't have to do them all night, like say for the Gans building, a Ouija board in one section, and then maybe some scrying in another section, and dowsing rods, and then we'll do a wash up at the end. We're not allowed to talk to each other, but it all brings all different energies from other people. Yeah. So they're experiencing stuff as well. And then when we come together at the end and do the wash up, it's amazing what we pick up, and sometimes we pick up the same names, and like we've all seen like a drummer boy or something like that, and it's like, wow. And then you go back and look at the history, it's like, Christ, that really happened.
Aye, that is. I'll put his comments up there and I'll come back to that, ladies. Gail's saying totally different atmosphere when you're out compared to watching TV programs. Lindsay can't watch a horror movie either.
Oh, bless you. My dad, me and my mum try and push him, and he only just watched the first Conjuring movie this year, because we spoke to Andrea Parent.
So she said it was nothing. Well, she says it was a good take, but if they put down what really happened in that house, because she's written them books, hasn't she? House of Darkness, House of Light. Yeah. And she's saying that they're going to make it into a little series. I don't know if it's going to be a film or anything, or a series on TV. Can't let on too much. But she said that if they put in half of what happened in that house for real, people wouldn't
be scared.
They would be terrified. I was like, we're getting them books. We're reading them books.
I watched the 3 of them. I only watched the last one about a couple of weeks ago, and it was really, really good. Yeah. The third one. But you see, the events, you get different people come, different people have different senses, or they'll hear different things. Yeah. I think it's quite common. We don't do events. We're maybe looking at that next year. Who knows? Because we've got enough on just now. But we recently started. We're doing a series in October, November. It's in the state up here. We're out there. That's where we were last night. We've been doing three or four investigations there, and the activity we have had is unbelievable. We've had 4 individual DVPs as well. Wow. 2 from the same woman, and another 2 males. 2 or 3 males. I'm losing track of it. But we like to get it verified, and the guy that's helping us is Charlie. from the Haunted Hunts UK.
Nice.
Nice. So I'm sending everything to him, and he's coming back with it. But it's amazing how, just what you're saying, people hear different, how interpretations change.
Yes.
You know, you might hear the word swing, somebody might hear the word football or something.
Yeah,
you know, do you get a lot of people bouncing off each other with different, you know, opinions or input and what have you?
Yeah. It's definitely like obviously with our guests, because when they're asking us questions, like last night we were at Fort Whitley in Portsmouth, there's the underground tunnels, and so obviously our guests ask us some questions, but we don't obviously feed anything to them because we say this is what you're here to do. You're here to gather the information and tell us, so we can collaborate.
That's it.
With previous hunters. Words out there.
And when two people see it, exactly the same thing. For an example, they always pop. They're not performing monkeys in spirit world. They just pop up whenever they want. I was in the living room with my mother-in-law, and we were having a chat, and the hallway's quite a couple of feet away from us. And something with a mop of hair, it looked like a boy, walked in the front door and went into the garden. While we were chatting away, and we both catch it out the corner of our eye. We both stand up and we both go out to investigate, and there's nobody there. So when two people see it, that's when you think, wow.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I've heard things in the past, you know, and I've said, did you not hear that? And say, people say no. Never heard it. Like I said, we were in that scale again. The more we go, the more activity we seem to get there.
Yeah.
There's so much. This place is just amazing. But we were going to do originally a month, but it's starting to grow legs, and we're getting that much activity, then we decided to extend it 2 months. But as a private estate, we've got the residents' permission to come and go as we please, basically. So it might go on longer than 2 months, whatever. But as I said, we were in one of the rooms yesterday, and in the basement, and I heard this kind of loud whisper sort of thing, and there was 4 days in the room, and nobody heard it. I was the only one that heard it, and I was like, "Did you not hear that?" So
and
no,
you heard it clear as day.
I heard it as clear as day. I was like, kind of, you know, and I went, "How did you not hear that?"
No.
No.
It kind of annoys you. We weren't recording. I was showing this team round the building, and no, I never heard a thing. But as you say, Sarah, when you get two people, or what we're finding is a lot of us are hearing the same word at the same time.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like when we went to the mausoleum, wasn't it? We have a place in Basildon, so literally where we live in Southampton, Basildon. There's a little mausoleum and a little graveyard, and it's all open to the public. It's very, very old. Yeah. And we just do like a little bit of a ghost walk around there, and we always do like a little prayer for them and open up safely for them, and that would mean no harm and disrespect.
So want to chat,
and
got the dowsing rods out, didn't we?
You had the dowsing rods.
We got it on camera.
It is. It's on one of our lives. You had the dowsing rods. I had the spirit box, and all you heard was leave,
and the dowsing rods started spinning around. Let's go. She's like, no, we're here to do this.
But we both heard the word leave.
We were getting that last night. We were in the basement, and then we were in an old swing park kind of area, and we were getting, get out and leave. And then one of the girls said, "Do you want us to leave?" And we heard, "I guess, please."
Wow.
Awesome. Oh, I love
and it was absolutely as amazing as the feeling you get when everybody hears the same thing.
Yeah.
Or two people. We were there on Tuesday, and we were down in one of the vaults in the basement again, and me and one of the other girls heard this metallic scraping sound. Now, the place is deserted. There's nobody there, and it's a shell. And the two of us looked at each other at the same time. I was, "Did you hear that?" And we heard at the exact same time. And I know a lot of people think, okay, hearing things, it's not true. But if more than one person hears it, then you've got to question.
Yeah.
As if we've heard the same thing at the same time, then it's got to be something.
Yeah, it has to be something. It's like when there's another place called Hartley Morden, and again, this is on one of our lives. Because I've always found sometimes when you try and film something, it will just stop. It's like it knows it's trying to be filmed. But this one, we went to Hartley Morden, and like yourself, you had metal chinking. Now, I thought my wheels we were in the middle of nowhere. I thought my wheels were going to be gone at like 12 o'clock at night. And I'm thinking, I've got an hour and a half drive back home. And we just heard this metal chinking. But we then to find out that the pond that we were at used to be a stables and a blacksmith's. So it sounded like the blacksmiths of a horse and shoe, like the chinking, like when they're heating up their shoes.
The anvil hammer, aye.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to us. And to find out that underneath the pond was where the stables were.
We got some thermal imaging, which is, do you guys use the thermal imaging cameras? They're pretty cool. They pick up all sorts. We've got a few thermal images.
Yeah, we've had at the same place. We've had outlines of a head and shoulders.
Like just
stood there next to somebody. Yeah, which again nobody was stood there because we were filming at the same time. Nobody stood there, so which is pretty awesome.
It's when you get noises that you can't. We did a castle about a month ago or something, and we heard on the other side of the wall we heard crunching footsteps, and as is gravel. It was a wee path, but we heard it clear as day, and we were outside, there was nobody there. This castle in a huge big field, there was not a soul there, but everybody heard these crunching footsteps. And I know a lot of people doubt the paranormal, but to me, when you get that many things happening, you've got to say, well, it's not imagination.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try and debunk whatever. Obviously, we like with our little capsules going off. We'll try and debunk it. We'll show our guests. If we then can't recreate what happened, then what's caused it to happen? So it's the unexplained, and I love it.
It's the history of a place as well, not just the ghost hunting and the fun of it all. It's a turn on knowing what was there and what happened there. Yeah, and who walked there, isn't it?
Who walked those corridors, letting their soul live. Yeah, and we're helping their soul live on, sharing their stories.
And even if you get into a place with loads, like my favourite kind of places are old manor houses. Yeah, like Preston Manor, where I think was it Queen Victoria visited there, and they've got this is in where is it? It's in Brighton, and they've got a cigar room with all leather going up the walls where all the gentlemen would have their cigarettes or cigars after. And you think, oh my gosh, you wonder what happened here. I mean, you can imagine all the ladies all dolled up, like
their hair down, dresses up to their necks.
You're walking history, aren't you?
I totally agree. I mean, that's why our channel's called us, because we love both, and it's amazing when you stand. I mean, I've been in quite a few places, and you think like Tower of London, been Hampton Court Palace, been to New Church Cemetery down in Pendle. Places like that, and you always Pendle goes back to Pendle Witches, what have you? Yeah. And there's but certainly Bartholomew's have got an original on the side of the church. It's the original door that was there back in 1620. How they preserved that, I don't know, but it is the original door. And you stand there and you look at these things and you think the amount of people that have walked through that door, that touched that door, even Hampton Court Palace. You're standing in Hampton Court Palace and you're thinking, well, Catherine Howard ran up this gallery. The great gallery. Catherine Howard ran up here. Yeah. And Henry VIII was here and he sat there, and it's just absolutely amazing. To us, you can't have paranormal without history.
No. I mention this all the time. I went to New York and I go to the American Gangster Museum where Al Capone had this speakeasy, and also Frank Sinatra was the barman in the bar there when he was younger. And I was stood drinking this Brooklyn beer in the bar, and I'm touching the bar, and my husband says, I can't believe we are stood where Frank Sinatra was a flipping barman in his younger days, and Al Capone was doing his dodgy dealings in this nightclub. And it's like, wow, we're standing somewhere we're touching all these people were. It's like, wow.
It's absolutely, I had the same feeling. I'm a big Tudor fan, so Sarah, we're big Tudor fans. All eyes on it last year. And the first time I went to the Tower of London, I was standing outside the White Tower where the execution spot is. Although that's disputed, I don't know if you've been to the Tower or not. Yeah. The big round glass plate thing, as I call it. They actually say it's in the right spot. It's actually the bit of grass in front of the constable's house, just a few feet away there. But I was standing there, and you're looking about and you think, this is where Anne Boleyn was executed. I know it's morbid, but
Yeah.
This is where Anne Boleyn was executed, and Cromwell Moore and all the rest. This is where they met their deaths, right here, and you're kind of standing there.
Yeah.
Thinking it is a morbid thought, but it's just the sheer, and you see the Traitor's Gate, and you think, well, how many people actually came through that gate?
Yeah. It is. It's just like you said. I think, like you said, it's a buzz, and it's like you used the word turn on, but it is.
Turn on.
It is. You used it just a minute ago, but it is. It gets your blood boiling, and your hairs on your arms standing up.
You was in with the craze the other day, weren't you?
Yes. Yeah.
She went to a visit to Mallet, and you're like, this is
like, because they don't know what cell they knew. They say that they believe they were in C wing because that was the segregation wing, but they can't 100% say what cell he was in. But there is I don't read plaques when I go, because we are actually due to go there in February. So I don't read any plaques there because I don't want any information to be taken in by me. I want it to come naturally. And there was, my partner told me there is a plaque there that has a picture in a certain cell. I'm not saying anything because obviously, again, we want our guests to pick it all up. And he said that there's a cell there, and I stood there and I was like, I'm stood where the craze was stood. Oh my.
I know, we're getting starstruck over a pair of evil buggers, aren't we?
I love it.
Starstruck the craze, they were. So what about the fear factor in investigations? You ever been in the situation where we've got one of the girls in our team, Laura, she gets goosebumps?
Yeah.
Up and down her arm. What about you, ladies? What the fear factor for you?
Oh, I'll let you go first, and then me.
I don't want to put any future guests off. So there was this young girl, I'd call her Eleanor, and she was doing the Ouija board with two of her friends. Another girl did not want to have anything to do with it, and I was with another colleague as well. I was back in there, wasn't that experienced, I must admit. And we had the K2 there. Now the K2s, you know what K2 is? They very rarely go off unless there's electric. There's an old farmhouse in Manor Farm, and we're in the main sort of kitchen area. And we split the team. So the girls were downstairs with me and the boys were upstairs on the twin beds with another colleague. And we're asking this question, and an old lady comes through, and the K2's peeking as we're asking questions. It's saying that it's saying its age was like 70 something, 75, and it liked to watch, and it liked bad things to happen. It was just coming out with some crazy, like, off the wall stuff. It was moving from left to right on the Ouija board, which is probably not a good thing. If I was more experienced, I should have put it down. Anyway, we said, right, we're going to go now. Well, we said juvenilely, we said, why don't you go upstairs and scare the boys? And with that, it moved straight to goodbye, and the K2 meter started flashing. And I said, right then, guys, where do you want to go? Do you want to go in the old schoolhouse, or do you want to go upstairs with the boys? And as soon as I said, go upstairs with the boys, the K2 went off again. And I said, so Spirit, do you want us to go upstairs? K2 goes off again. Offstairs we go. Now, if you've ever been to Manor Farm, there is a taxidermy dog called Nimrod. He's a huge dog. Yeah, he's like some sort of St. Bernard or Bull Mastiff or something. And I thought, you know what, for the scare factor, we'd like to. I said, Eleanor, why don't you go in there on your own for a bit? She's like, oh, okay, I'll go in there. And we close the door. About 5 minutes later, we hear this blood-curdling scream, like a banshee scream, and we all go pummeling in there. And down the side of her neck, she's got 3 scratches down her neck, and they've drawn blood. And I said to my colleague, I feel so guilty. I says, that thing that was on the Ouija board, and it wouldn't, I didn't mention this, it would not tell us its name. It would spell out no, N-O, and it would, when we'd ask it, it would go to no, and it would do it like 3 or 4 times. And my colleague, who was more experienced, he says that thing that was on that Ouija board was something not of this world. We should always ask, have you ever walked this earth as a human? And if it says no, then just get off of it straight away. If it won't give you its name, get off the Ouija board straight away, go straight to goodbye. He said that it done that to tempt us up there, to teach us a lesson. Yeah. And she vowed never to go back. She didn't have no nails either, so she couldn't have done it herself. And when we were outside, we could hear trotting, and there was like, oh, where's that trotting come from? Yeah. Brought something back that's grabbed my foot and my husband's foot, was punching my eldest child in the stomach, And also my younger 5-year-old was saying, Mummy, something keeps saying my name. I had to go around the entire house. And I was telling in every room, get the hell out of my house. This is my house. You are not welcome in my house. And that was it. But crucifix was up in my eldest son's bedroom. And it stopped completely. It's all about territorial, isn't it? But that was my mistake for always saying when you leave a ghost hunt, no spirit people are allowed to follow me home. This is my home. You are not welcome in my house. And we say that to our guests as well, don't we?
Yeah, we do it. But sometimes, I mean, I had to be reminded last night because we that much good happened last night. And sometimes you do forget if you've had a lot happening, it kind of slips your mind, and then you go away and think, I never shut that down.
Never shut it. Yeah.
And Lindsay's got a question, and then I'll come back to what you were saying about what you were saying with Kate. Have you ever been someone who totally shuts your senses off because of fear taking over?
You can answer that one.
Yeah, 30 East Drive.
Also Monk's Walk.
Oh, yeah. I've got 2 places.
Right.
Okay. Monk's Walk first. So we're actually going to this location on Halloween this year. It is called Don Stylish Gym, and then the surrounding woods is called Monk's Walk.
It was an isolation.
It was an isolation hospital for the war and for smallpox. So it's a lot of history packed in there. I've never been there, and as one of our little ghost walks, when we were allowed to have 6 people, when we were allowed with 6 people out after our lockdown, we decided to do two locations that night. And the first location, I put protection on myself. I had my senses all around me. I was all calm. Nothing happened to me. I do, again, like you said, get the little goosebumps. I get those feelings. Moved on to the second location, and stupidly didn't put protection on me because I thought I've already done it tonight. Mate, I didn't need to do it again. I don't know what really happened, but something either stopped me or it was just me just being stupid. Walked through the little walkway because I didn't know where I was going. So Jamie, again, one of our team leaders, was guiding me around, and I automatically was like, there's pirate ships in the bay, there's a man hanging. Then one of our other team members, Sean, he felt there was a vortex, so he got us to stand around this vortex, and before somebody could say the word hanging, I was then being choked, and it felt like barbed wire in my throat, and it literally cut all my senses off. I couldn't stop it, couldn't help myself.
You're pretty ballsy as well.
Pretty sturdy.
She's a realist. She doesn't really get affected by these kind of things.
Nope.
And you were absolutely terrified.
I was terrified that night. Yeah. Lucky Jamie was there to help me because I couldn't stop it myself. Which that makes me think something was not maybe again stopping me from putting the protection on, or was it my own stupidity? I don't know. But yeah, it was just awful. And then I had this ball of sick in my mouth, but there was no sick. I had this metallic taste in my mouth. So Jamie pulled me to one side, and then obviously just put a prayer over me, asked the spirit to literally come out of me because it's gone inside me to make me feel what they felt.
Kent from the Ghost of Carmel, Maine, he explained something very similar that happened to him. That's just the metallic taste in your mouth.
It was awful. And so always put protection on yourself, guys. No matter where you Either way. Everyone needs protection these days.
Yes.
Protection you see fit for the occasion, shall we say? I mean, but it's amazing how spirit can affect you. We've got one of the girls, the girl that gets the goosebumps. We went to an old cut card one night, and she had this sensation of she had a really sore neck, and it turned out later on we found out that the area she'd been standing in, somebody had hung herself there.
Oh, wow. They're showing you. Feeling.
Really sore neck. Last year I went to a place. Now, sometimes I'll pick up on spirit. I'm not a medium, I don't label myself as anything. Sometimes I'll pick up, sometimes I picked up on something last night, but you can go for weeks and get nothing, and then I'll suddenly feel something. I went to a cemetery last year, and I don't get anxious or scared of it, but this particular cemetery, I was drawn down to the bottom end of it, facing a housing estate, and I felt kind of anxious, scared, and struggling for breath. And it was a guy, I tell the guy I was with, and he says, you know, that's weird because there was a young guy, he was murdered down there. I said, well, something today was breathing. He says, I was
Oh, wow.
on set. And so it is amazing. And I'd never been in this village before. And he says, that story's no on Google. He says, that was years ago. This young boy was strangled to death. I said, there was more than one guy, but there was he says there was 4 of them attacked him, but one strangled him.
Oh,
So it's, and I said, well, he's still walking up and down this, but there's a big long path. I says, his family still live here. His family never moved away. He says, they still stay over in the same houses that happened all the years ago. So it's amazing how a spirit can affect you.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people say you're talking rubbish and that spirit can't affect you, but if you've experienced it personally, hey, Clint, buddy, if you've experienced it personally, then you know what it's like.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like when we go to locations, as I said earlier, I believe everybody has this psychic ability to them. It's just if you start to channel it or open yourself up to it and cleansing obviously your third eye and helping yourself understand it a bit more.
A lot of people are frightened of it, aren't they? They just block it out.
And I've been to locations where like my hair would start like just going up like that, and people have witnessed it, and I'm just like, it never really bothered me. I just might have given me goosebumps, but I've asked for a spirit to come and touch me. So I'm not going to try and run away from it, but there has been times where we have ran. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Some of the places we've been to, 30 East Drive. I went there last year with Dan, the big boss man, and I think it was just like obviously the fear of
it's a poltergeist, isn't it? Poltergeist. Yeah. That's what's scary about it. Yeah. That's what it's known for.
Yeah, and obviously again the expectations of the house.
Yeah,
and we went there twice last year. So the first time it was quite relaxed. You can feel there's something watching you, and I mean watching you here. We had a few cat ball actions, and then the second time we went, it definitely kind of recognised us. So now it was like opening up a little bit more. But we're again back this year. This 20th of December, we're going back as a whole team this time. So we will be live for that. But the feeling when you walk in there, and
a lot of people said, even on these YouTube videos, is have you ever been to East Drive?
I've not. We had the chance to go as a team. We worked with GSI. They're down in Nottingham. They're on Paraflix, and about 2 months ago, one of the bosses phoned me and says, "Look, we're going to East Drive on Wednesday. We've been given free access for one night only. Can you come?" But it was like 2 days' notice. I thought, "Hey, we can go." You know.
Yeah.
Other people would have been there. So I would like to. He says that we can back again. I said, well, when you get back, give us a shout. But I think East Drive, no disrespect to him, he's done it, but it's kind of 50-50.
It is, definitely, yeah. I think like with us, like we say, the expectations of this house, it's where Diane got dragged up the stairs. It's where the dad was attacked in the coal shed. So the expectations of it is high, but going there and then stepping over that threshold of that door, you get the goosebumps already, and it's got this musty old smell to it. I didn't want to. I didn't sleep at all. I'm ballsy, but I didn't sleep twice in 2 nights. I didn't sleep at all because I felt my shorts being played with. The cat balls were going off. The cat ball on top of the stairs, because there's said to be a vortex there, was going off constantly. I swapped the cat balls around to make sure the one wasn't dodgy. Nope. The one that had been going off completely stopped. I put it in Diane's room, and the new cat ball was just going off constantly. And that was where my bed was that night on the landing. And I was like, nah, I need matchsticks for my eyes because I'm not going to sleep. I'm not having my feet touched or my head touched.
Scott, I know you're the interviewer, but I'm really curious. What is the most haunted location in Scotland that you've been to?
Before I answer that, Lindsay's up a big comment. I'll keep in suspense. Lindsay's wrote my head at Leonard's Castle, and I'll be able to use myself.
I've later found out lobotomy procedures were done in the part I was walking.
Oh gosh.
I think it was spirit. Oh wow.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome,
Lizzie. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like we spoke to Tessa, and she said that what kind of helped her psychic ability come out was having some surgery done.
Yeah.
And then just obviously having that feeling after that everything's
like a near-death experience.
Yeah.
It sort of
you're like
opens up. Yeah, opens up that
to them.
part of your mind, doesn't it?
Definitely. It's
back here. Sorry, Rosie, on you go.
Sorry, what was that?
No, I should really carry on what you were saying.
Yes, no, yeah. So yeah, it's literally just like a beacon, and I have arthritis all over my body, and I think since being diagnosed with it, I've actually had bit more experiences happening, haven't I? Like touches, feelings, or seeing more shadows, but they've stopped. I've stopped. I used to see shadows, but they've stopped. I've now started to feel it more. But yeah, definitely, that's also more obviously what Lindsay's just put, that it was obviously where they had laboratory stuff with her scar as well. Yeah. So definitely cool.
Just with Sarah's question, the most haunted, we've been a few places up here. We've been to Greyfriars. We've done loads in Greyfriars last year. It's one of my favourite locations. I've had this mysterious pool at Greyfriars for, even before we started the channel. It was a place I always had to go. Even if I used to go to Edinburgh shopping, on a Saturday, and even if it was for 10 minutes, I had to go to Greyfriars. I don't know what it was, I just had to be there. But we've been there all times of the day, afternoon, evening, middle, 3 o'clock in the morning, all times. And we've never had any experiences. A lot of people think Greyfriars are going to get things thrown at you and blah, but we've always found it peaceful, despite its reputation. I've noticed that there is something in Greyfriars, but, if it's what people say it is, who knows? I'm not saying it. But the most haunted place I've been is the place we're doing now, to be honest with you. It's a 280-acre estate.
Nice.
There's a main mansion in it, because the mansion dates back to 1770, 1773. It was built for a wealthy family back then. They lived there for 140 years, not their generations lived there, and then they left. It turned into I hate saying the word, a mental institution. There's two different stories. One is it was a mental institution for adults, and then it turned into a children's care home. The other is that it was a mental institution for children. We're still doing a lot of research on it, but every time we've been, the amount of activity, and this goes back to what you were saying, Sarah, about the K2 meter.
Yeah.
We've got a guy coming on tomorrow night. Him and I do a monthly slot. Mark Edgerton, his name is. He wrote the book, The Haunted History of Huntingdonshire. He was trained by Peter Underwood, if you remember him.
Nice. Yeah.
He's the granddaddy of the paranormal. He's the one that trained Mark. Now, Mark's not a big gadget guy. But what he says is, if you get intelligent responses on a K2 meter for more than 30 or 40 seconds, then you can't put that into a rogue signal or a radio. We've had 18 minutes intelligent responses in this place. Our first investigation we done at night. The second investigation was about 15 minutes. Last night, the EMF meter and the K2 meter were going absolutely nuts. This place is about 5 miles from the nearest village. This house sits right in the middle of the estate. There are people who live on the estate, but the nearest one is some distance away, so there's nothing can interfere with these meters. And getting intelligent answers for every question we asked. We walked around the estate on Tuesday during the day, and you get the feeling that something's watching you constantly. Last night we done the basement. We did get very little in the basement. We went back to the stairwell. We got loads there, and then we went to down to the swing area, and it freaked some of the girls out, so we kind of called it a night. I was wanting to stay all night.
Yeah. We would have been there with you.
I would have been there all night. I would still be sitting there if I didn't have a live tonight, but however, I'm glad you're in. I would say that's the most haunted location we've been in.
Awesome.
We've done an old power station where we've got some activity. With it, the usual activity and truck cars and stuff like that, but this place knocks the socks off of everybody. And that's why I'm trying so hard to debunk stuff to get the first investigation we done. I sent it to 11 different people, including the haunted hunts. I sent it to CRA Entertainment, sent it to Patty. I sent it to loads of people to get it validated. And we feel it's very important. The more people, and I didn't tell them anything about it. I just sent them, look, this is what we done last night. Tell me what you think. Yeah. And they came back. There's a woman whispering, not through the app. She's sitting next to you.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so you got many people validating it. If anybody wants to come up and see you're talking crap, say, well, there's a list of independent people. They've all said the same thing. And I think that's a buzz as well, because everybody's saying the same thing or very similar.
Yeah.
For what they hear.
Yeah.
Sarah, she's my partner.
Hi, Sarah.
Definitely. That's your daughter there.
Oh.
It's definitely the most. And one of the girls, I know a team, she lives on the estate. We left there last night, but this girl, Megan, she's out in it all the time.
Yeah.
She told me last night, and she says, you're never going to believe what happened. This place, sometimes we'll get teenagers getting in, just wandering about. She says, I was out with my friend just walking the estate, and we seen 6 boys running down from the house. They says they went into the house and they heard this loud female scream. Don't know if it was a woman or a girl. And the 6 of them were chalk white, and they practically ran out of the States. We're never coming back here.
Oh, wow. That'll learn them.
That'll teach them going and not the technology going in.
Well, that's it, and every time we go, we've had the odd sound, there's a lot of residual hauntings there that were picked up in the background. It's an amazing place. So I would say that definitely that's the most haunted place. I'm not putting Greyfriars in that. I love Greyfriars, the Royal Mile, but there's loads of places up here.
Have you done the Edinburgh Vaults?
We did the vaults. That was a weird one. We did the vaults during the day.
Right.
And we 5 Sarah will correct me if I'm wrong here. We had 5 cameras and a voice recorder, and none of them worked out.
Really?
No, it was a bit, no pun intended. I think it was a bit dead when our lot went up there.
They didn't do the vault. They did the Mary Queen of Scots. No, I don't think they did.
Oh, I'm getting confused.
Don't think they did.
No.
They did the Mary Queen of Scots bit. Is it Mary Queen of Scots?
Mary Close. Mary King's Close.
Yes, that's it. Yes, they did that. Yeah, and they said it was fantastic, but they kept the lights on as well, so
ruin the atmosphere.
They said obviously they like it dark.
You're better with dark. But I mean, the vaults, we didn't really get very much. We did hear 3 or 4 of us heard a male voice in the actual vault say why, just one word, very quick, why, because we all turned around at the same time.
Right.
We 3's get a freezing cold sensation in our right foot at this one particular spot. I'm not saying it was paranormal. I'm just this is what happened. But when we get home, we were looking through and none of it worked. And the team that we were with last night, I was talking to their boss shortly after. He says, I'll tell you, he says, that happened to us. We done the same vaults and none of your stuff worked.
Wow. So something doesn't want to give up its history.
No.
So I mean that's how I would take it. Like if your equipment's not wanting to do anything, not working or anything, it's just something's not wanting to give up the history of it, and they just kind of go in
nope. See ya.
But as this occasion we're in, the first investigation we done on a stairwell, we always have a locked off camera as well. Just we press record and just forget about it, and we just let it run. The next day I was going through it and it stopped after 6.5 minutes.
Right.
They'll check the battery, there's still about 3/4 of a battery in it.
There's
But
no
that-
reason to stop.
And then we thought back, say, well, that's really about the time we started getting the responses on the K2 meter. The cat ball was going nuts.
As it stopped,
It
yeah.
It might be coincidence again. We
Yeah.
never state it's paranormal. We just say, like, this is what happened. What do you think? It just seemed a wee bit funny that the camera. I was told, you know, it's a weird one. We
Yes,
don't.
definitely.
I'm dying to ask you a question, Scott. Can I ask you a question? I don't know if you know much about it, though. Now, Scotland is home to one of the most evilest men ever, Aleister Crowley. And he's got a house, hasn't he, in Loch Ness called the, how do you pronounce that, Rosie? Bolskine house. And you can go there. Have you been there?
Not been there, no. We were up at Loch Ness a couple of weeks ago, up at Castle, but we've not been to the actual house.
Wow.
So,
do you know what I'm talking about, though?
I know you're talking about. It's quite a famous house up here.
He did all this devil worship and stuff there, didn't he?
Yeah, he was quite a character.
Oh, he was a weirdo, wasn't he?
It's on your hit list to go. You're like,
I was hoping you could tell me stuff about him because I am quite obsessed with the guy. It's like, yeah, he's a loony, but you know, he did some crazy sugar lumps.
No, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I've not been there. I want to go. We've got quite a few places on our bucket list, so to speak, that we're wanting to go. But obviously, because of last year, what's happened and what have you, it's not about, you know, that is what it is.
Maybe if you do go, will you tell me all about it?
If we go down, I'll video it and I'll send you the video and stuff like that, and you can have a wee look about for yourself. We will get there, as say, with everything that's happened at Pttp, and you know, people are just kind of, I don't getting back in their feet, the parent, because nobody could go anywhere. As you know yourselves, we were saying before the live, you've done the exact same thing that we done. You started doing interviews, you know, chats, because you thought, well, what can we do? We can't go out.
Yeah.
So
we were quite lucky because where we're sister-in-laws, we were allowed to form a bubble. So you've got children, so we kind of help with her children. So we were kind of lucky in a way that we could do like our exercise walk after work, and we can go live. But obviously, it was close to where you live and where I live as well. So we were a little bit luckier than a lot of people, but we still weren't allowed to see the rest of our team. So when we saw our team, it was like, we're home, the family's back together again.
And we're lucky with guests. You've been lucky with guests as well, haven't you?
We've been, I mean, we only started in June, July, and we only got a couple of investigations before they locked us down again. And we've been so blessed by the people that we, yourselves included, obviously.
Oh, thank you.
The amount of, that's what's helped our channel grow. You know, it sounds like headed, but our channel kind of exploded after we done Pendle last year. It was Charlotte and Patty, you know, the Haunted Hunts. We've had Knock Knock Ghost on as well. You know, we've had a lot of people on. So we landed on our feet. So lockdown was bad for us, but good for us at the same time. That makes sense. Same as yourself.
Forming a paranormal community, aren't we? And we're sharing our experiences. And I think as long as you're honest about what you're getting, you're not. Some people do, well, we don't. I mean, fake stuff and that. But as long as you're honest about what you do, I mean, you're going to get people that are going to say, "Oh, that door could have closed on its own," and you know, they try and debunk it. But at the end of the day, what you're putting out there is what you found and what you believe. And I think that it's all good. Yeah, it is all good, definitely. And it's exciting. It's something to do, isn't it? At the end of the day,
it's a crazy hobby.
Yeah.
Well, people do think we're crazy, you know, wandering about the states of graveyards at 1, 2 in the morning in the freezing cold, you know. But we do love it. But I mean, last year, you know, we did get a couple of comments. Where's all these investigations? And we thought, well, we're in lockdown, you know, so we can't. But as you say,
your local area.
My way of looking is paranormal investigating isn't just about sitting in a graveyard for 5 hours.
Nope.
It's about doing this, talking to other people, groups, learning, you know, sharing experiences, getting tips here and there.
Definitely.
That is, it's all one big parcel, basically. It's not just investigate. The investigations are great. That's the best. But at the end of the day, it's about learning off of people. And I mean, I've been at the paranormal for about 30 years, but since we started the interviews, I've picked up so much.
So much more,
These are the same.
Yeah, because every day's learning. And I always say it. Even in my day job, every day's a learning curve, and especially something like this. And because we do like old Victorian style investigating.
Yeah, table tipping. What did we do? I've never done it before. It was great. The girls got it.
Method.
Estes method. And what's the one with the writing that they were?
The automatic writing.
They did automatic writing on like this board with the planchet, and they put their fingers on it and a pen in it, and it was writing. It was awesome. I've never done that before.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone loves a good ghost story as well, don't they?
Yeah. And this is what we do, because, like, excuse the pun, but sometimes we have dead nights.
Yeah.
It's just so quiet, but what we then tend to do is naturally you become an entertainer, so you kind of have to entertain them, not fake anything.
No, get them to share their ghost stories.
To share their ghost stories,
and then sometimes that prompts the spirits. Yeah, because they want to join in. Yeah, and the little bits happen, don't they?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like last night, it felt a little flat. We both groups had similar experiences going on.
Footsteps and
spirit box saying get out and leave.
Yeah.
But then we just shared ghost stories and obviously tell them a bit more history about the place. And it was just it
was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. Scary fun.
It. Yeah.
That's what makes it more interesting as well. So, because we say to many lives, it's like fishing. You can go out and get nothing. I mean, Laura's daughter, she came out with us last night, and before we went out, she says, listen, this place has been quite active. It was our first ever investigation. I says, this place is delivered, every time we've been, but tonight we might get nothing. Yeah. We might get nothing. I was wrong, But see, we've been to Greyfriars many times and we've had nothing. Every time we've had nothing.
Yeah.
I picked up in a mail, Sarah did as well. We picked up in a mail very, very briefly one night we went. It lasted seconds and it was gone. But that's the only activity we've ever had in Greyfriars. But I think that's where the appeal is as well. You sit there and you're listening, you're waiting, you think, what am I going to get? Are we going to hear something? And that kind of draws you in as well.
Yeah. The anticipation.
Yeah.
If you don't get anything, then just put your hands up and say, look, we've got nothing.
Yeah. No, this is what we say to our guests.
They're not performing monkeys.
They're not performing monkeys. Every night is different night. If Aunt Peg did her washing on a Wednesday, you might get Aunt Peg doing her washing on a Wednesday, but the dates change. So the date of that Wednesday that she did it could then be a Friday for us. It's every night is different,
and it could be one flat night, and then you go back again next week, and everything happens.
Everything will help.
Stuff will get thrown at you. Doors will start slamming. Whispers in ears and all sorts. So, it's luck of the draw at the end of the day. Yeah. And like I say, different people, when we take members of the public with us, bring different energies. And then also things that follow them in their lives, like relatives and that, sometimes they pop in and out and they're protecting their own.
Yeah. Even a lady last night, she picked up on a pet donkey. So we said, good evening, Mr. Donkey. Yeah, it was a pet donkey that come through. So it was just we respected him, and let him go on.
I've never heard a donkey being picked up.
Whereas you're definitely feeding a pet, and you go with the cat, the dog, the bird, and I think I said horse because there was horse stables around, and she went, no, it's a donkey. And we said she had her crystal, and you could see her hand was dead still, and the crystal started swinging for her yes answer. It was a donkey, and it then just started going nuts. Good evening, Mr. Donkey.
I need to remember that one. Look out for donkeys and stuff like that.
We are.
As you say, they're not performing monkeys, and they don't connect. I used to say people ghosts don't clock in at 10 at night and finish at 6 in the morning.
No, they're not in a little black book.
Anytime
diary,
and they can pop up whenever.
When they say, I mean, a spirit to me, as I've said it many times, the only difference between a spirit and me is they don't have a physical body.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
They're the same person, you know. If you were a crabby old bugger in life, you might be a crabby old bugger. Or if you were a happy-go-lucky guy, you must be a happy-go-lucky spirit.
Yeah.
You don't change, you know, you take it all kind of away. Do you think, I mean, I've watched a lot of ghost shows, and no disrespect, but a lot of them are quite boring and uniformed, and
you can feel staged sometimes.
Do you think a spirit will come through to you more? I've watched yourselves as well. If you're more laid back, I'm not talking about running about, you know, drinking Budweiser or whatever, but a light atmosphere, a joking atmosphere. Do you find a response?
Yeah, this is why I like Jack Osborne, because he is so mystical. He's funny. I mean, he'd be sat there doing the cameras and singing a stupid little song. I find him entertaining, as well as he's terrified.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll stick him in a dark room and somebody will touch him and then he'll get the willies. But to watch him be absolutely scared out of his pants is entertaining for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, Jack, just get back in there. Go on, don't be a wussy. And I think it's adding that element of fun to it as well.
Yes. It's like you always say with us, we could never, like, if people believe in the demonic world, don't think we could ever be taken over, because we're such positive, high energy.
And when I'm frightened, we laugh and face off.
Yeah,
and
when
then
we're frightened, we
wet
start
myself
laughing.
probably as well. I lose control of my bodily functions, but
Well, yeah,
I'll be laughing while I'm doing it.
We need to sell tenner ladies on some of our ghost
Yes, we could.
The ladies scream.
Tenner, if you want to sponsor.
There's the field there.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. You know, you take your advert for tenner ladies. No, I mean that's totally fine. But we do. I think you need that kind of laid back as you're lying down, kind of snoring, but you need that laid back approach to it, and that fun approach, rather than
you
know, right, we'll do this and then we'll do that and we'll do this. And I think it helps with people watching you as well, that they see that we are normal people.
Yeah.
You know, we're not robots, we're no freaks. We are just, we can have a laugh and a joke, you know.
Yeah.
Half of your team, the minds were like sewers, basically. Do you know what I mean?
Everywhere's a blooper. There's bloopers everywhere. But as you said, we're human. This is who we are. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And I just love the energy.
It is scary though. It is terrifying. Sometimes it's absolutely really, really frightening. And that is part of the adrenaline, I think.
I had last night I had one guy sorry, Poochie's on the squeal.
I've got Jack Russell and she's
stop it. So like last night, you know, he's an 18-year-old lad, and he's been a couple of times now, and he's loving it.
Sorry.
And I poked him down one of the end corners in one of the most haunted bits that we know is really active down there. And all you heard was this little pitch black, little footsteps running back to us. And he's like, nope, not going down there. Nope. There's something. He said something's down there. I said, did you leave my cat ball down there? Yep. And I'm not going to get it either. And he had like some muscles on him, so even the big macho men, sometimes they can't hack it, and they're hiding behind me, 5 foot and a fag butt.
You go and get your own cat ball. Hey, Kathy doll. But I'd see, we Charlie Rocks on. I think it was last week, the week before, and Charlie and I were talking as well. That you get, it's not a fear. I mean, I'll go anywhere. There's the basement in this current location. I put photographs up on the Facebook page and a wee bit short film. It's at night time in this place, it's pitch black. You cannot see nothing. You're down the basement, you can't see a thing. And I love walking down that corridor. It's like this corridor, you know, because you don't know if something's going to pop out in front of you or whatever. It gives you a kind of buzz, you know, where most people are like, you're a in there, you know. Yeah. But you get this kind of buzz walking down, and Charlie said the exact same thing. He says, I get a buzz when I walk, you know, get in places with that, tunnels and whatever it is.
It's like last night with, so where we were, Fort Whitley, you've got one shorter tunnel, then you've got one long tunnel. So my group, we started down the long tunnel first. You went to the short tunnel first, and I said my team, well, my group, one by one, on their own, no torches on.
I give them a little electric candle.
No, I'm not that nice. On your own, in the dark, no torch. And next minute, you see all the ladies. They've all caught up with each other, bless them, and they've all just kind of like huddled in together. That was it. And we've all caught up behind them, and we're like, come on, get down the bottom. So it's just trying to hypen up their senses and trying to hit, like you said, you know, you can't see this in front of you. Trying to hear the footsteps behind you, who's going to be in front of you, who you're going to walk through. It's who you're going to meet. That's the fear factor of it, and I love that.
We've not done events, but maybe next year. But I'd really like that to do an event, as in the public come along. You know, they want to see they want to see the side of the paranormal. They want to be scared. So send them into a dark tunnel. You know. Yeah. Don't have an event in a bright light ballroom. Take them to an old castle that's got dark tunnels and send them down these stairs, you know. Obviously hoping that they don't fall and break their neck, but
yeah, we don't want to.
You have to do a health and safety assessment first, don't you?
Yeah, we normally do like an Annika Rice run round and show everybody like kind of like, here's the do's and don'ts, here's the wires, here's the cameras, here's the tripods.
Yeah.
So yeah, we make sure they've all got their health and safety hats on first.
Oh no, of course you did the whole. I'm not meaning.
They go.
And say, right, Mary, get down that tunnel.
Get down there, yeah.
I don't know if it's in there at all, but you know, go and have a look and come back and tell us, correct? But I do the health and safety thing, but take them to somewhere dark, mysterious, and just stick them in it.
Yeah.
You know.
What do you feel? Tell us what you feel. How are you feeling?
Especially people who don't. I would love to be scared. I've been chasing that feeling for so long.
Oh, you'll get there. Every day's different, and I'm not sure, Kathy, I'm not sure to where some places that you've been, but obviously have a research of obviously where you guys go and where we can go. You will get that feeling one day. It will come, and it will be such a buzz. I promise you, you will get there.
As you were just saying, Sarah, you know, asking people what they feel. Do you think you members of the public who have never been in an investigation, you know, they're just everyday Joes, as they say, put them in somewhere and then come back and say, right, what did you feel in there?
Yeah.
You know, if you stick an investigator in there and say, oh, well, I felt this and that, but stick a note, you know.
Stick a normal person. Yeah,
that's what it's about with us.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, we could tell, like, I had a chair rattle behind me and I'm thinking, don't do it to me, do it to them. They're here, they want to feel it. And they did a statistic thing.
Yeah.
And apparently 96% of the population have had a paranormal experience that they cannot explain. Most of them have had it as a child. And that's when children are sensitive. That's when you're coming out of, you're an adult.
You're understanding it more as you get older.
So if you think about it, you know, there is, if that's happened to you, then there's got to be something in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there is, as you say, when you're a child, you're more open to it, because obviously as you get older, you start listening to people, watching stuff on TV, so you kind of start believing maybe the paranormal is just made up, so you kind of shut down whatever senses you've got. You know, you don't mean to do it, but you do shut them down. It works the opposite way, because, you know, I've met people before who never sensed anything, but they get into the paranormal, they went in investigations and they started feeling stuff, and I just say, well, that's because you're kind of unconsciously
opening
yourself back up, you know, to what could be there. Your mind, you're not going saying, right, I'm not going to get in tonight, I'm not going to feel. You're going there, and you're slowly, I say it's like a door, you're slowly opening that door in wee bits, so, you know.
Yeah, 100%. The ones I like are, you know, excuse the men out there, but you get the big macho men. You've got us, you know, you're a bit taller than me.
You had a running cross on there, didn't you?
Yeah, I've already just said that one.
Oh, yeah.
But it's when the big guys, they come down there like, no, I'm only here for me missus. And next minute they're like, Yeah, I'm on the fence because so much stuff is happening. I can't explain it.
Then they're getting poked and they're getting whispered in the ear,
and then the leg grab. Then they're screaming. They're the best ones. I love
it. You see the colour draining through their face because there's a noise that they cannot explain, and the eyes start. They kind of slowly move from side to side. The eyes start kind of moving, and the colour goes. And I think, I'm just going to jump out for a cigarette. I'll be back.
Yeah, and they're proper pooping it.
Aye, they're off in the first taxi they find, you know.
Yeah, calling the Uber up.
The phone and Uber as they're running out the front door. You know what I mean? It's but to us it's fun. It's interesting what you can find out, you know, and the history side of it as well. When you put it all together. A lot of people put the paranormal down, they don't believe in it. But you know yourself, girl, if you're in an investigation, this place we've had several wee things happen in one night. People say it's coincidence. What about that? Well, I asked you about the word coincidence. We've had people say, you know, I say the meter will go off, the camera will turn off, just wee bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I don't think of that many coincidences in the same spot in the same night.
Yeah.
What do you think? Coincidence?
I think obviously. So Jamie, he was also explaining. I kind of feel the same with Jamie. Is what is a coincidence? Like, what is it? And I don't believe. I do believe in coincidences sometimes, but when it's repeatedly, like the first time, the second time, that's not a coincidence. That's something tampering and playing big games with you, and that's my buzz. That's the bit I like.
We're at Margam Castle. I was with Margam Castle with a guest, and we had the little, the Maggie lights that turn on and off. You have to. We had it on the cusp of being on and off, and it was off for ages and ages and ages. And then we asked it after about 20 minutes into an investigation. Can you just turn that light on? If you just touch it and it ping on. Can you turn it off? Ping off. Are you a spirit? Ping on.
That can't be a coincidence.
And then can you move that cat ball straight to the cat ball on? I'm like, wow.
Yeah. They're the intelligent spirits. It can't be a coincidence that they're going on and off.
You can't debunk that. I mean, it's the same as the K2 meter, the I can't even say it. EMF meter.
Yeah.
You know. But I spoke to professionals about it. So if you've got a K2 meter sitting and it doesn't go off for say 3 or 4 minutes, and then you ask a question and it goes, you know, say you say you go to yellow. If your answer is yes, make this go to yellow, and that meter goes to yellow, and then it goes off again, and it sits again dormant until you ask your next question, and then it'll go again. We've had that constantly. You can't say that's coincidence.
No. It's like I've started using a dice, lettered dice, and in a little cup. So we shake them. We ask yes and no questions or some other questions. Shake them, drop them down, see what words you can spell. And we were at Merley House, and that was our first investigation this year. So after our lockdown, we're allowed the public to join us, and they were already had the glass and marble. Had their yes and no answers, and they were already somebody had died regarding their leg. So then they went on the dice and the glass and marble. So one was with the dice throwing down the letters, and so the guy said, was you shot in the leg? And as he writ down, threw the dice down, it then said knee. And I was like, no way. It's first word, all in a line, it said knee. And then the glass and marble, the marble moved first before the glass to their yes answer. And is that a coincidence?
Well, we did.
It was fantastic.
We did a house clearance, so we were some Sage in Portsmouth, and all the electronic equipment was going off. It was going mental.
All
K2s were going off.
Yeah.
All the K2s were they were going like traffic lights. They were going mental all over the flat that we were cleansing. So as soon as we saged it out and said this little prayer in each room, all the electrical equipment completely stopped.
Yeah.
How strange is that?
Yeah. And
that is.
Yeah.
You know, that's coincidence. There's 2 incidents spring in mind for me. One, it was Edinburgh Vaults where nobody's camera worked. Now, you can understand maybe 1, perhaps 2, maybe push. But I think it was 5, for 5 of them, no to work. And I went out filming one day, and I went to a Drossen Castle here, which is associated with William Wallace. I filmed there, and then I went to a place called Kilwinning Abbey, filmed there, and then I went to this park. Got home, checked the footage. A Drossen Castle and the park had worked. The Abbey hadn't worked. So I went back one night to the Abbey and filmed again. I get home and the footage hadn't worked.
God.
Please.
Repeat. Yeah.
I can't explain it. You know, the same location, the footage does not work in there. And again, with this location, 6.5 minutes, the camera turned off and the activity started.
Yeah. It's like the tampering with it.
Yeah. It's like, I think I mentioned earlier, as soon as you start filming, nothing goes off. Your filming might still film, but nothing, no equipment will go off. As soon as you stop filming, all hell break loose, and like someone's doing a 360 on the ceiling, like trying to get your phone to work then or your camera to work then. That's a no-no.
Shadows annoying all over the show. Yeah.
I don't have any bother with my phone, but as soon as you get into the kind of there's a small entrance and there's a big foyer, and as soon as you get into the entrance, last week I was doing a live, my phone kept flicking back and forward, the camera. Yep. And then I done a wee short live. It was here yesterday, Thursday, I think it was. I done a short live, and I couldn't get the live to end.
Oh no!
I was pressing end, and it just would not turn off.
Oh!
I ended up having to come out the whole thing together, and it's just in that spot in that house that this happens to my phone. As I say, the camera. I was with my phone, and the camera was flicking, and you're standing like this, you know.
Just trying to just turn it off, and it's just not happening.
And it's just a mind of its own. You know, if one of the spirits is saying, "Look, I'm going to play a bit with that thing," you know, that was something else. Investigate battle days. I tell it. You hear a lot of investigations, and people say, "I've got a K2 meter there. I've got an EMF meter here. Touch it." What's your thought? I like to say, you know, I'll call a K2 meter a box.
Yeah.
Because I feel if you're dealing with maybe a spirit for the 16th, 17th century, they don't know what.
Yeah.
But they know what a box is. So you see that black box on the ground, touch that. And we've had a lot more answers since we started doing it that way.
That's interesting, that actually, because think like I've just kind of
put one in a bear, haven't you?
Yeah, I've put a K2 in a bear. So to me, you know, a bears, they've been around for years.
Teddy bears.
So little teddy bear to a child or even an adult, they're going to be more attracted to the bear than the machine with the green light on. You know, and it is definitely like you've just pointed out. You say K2 meter. They're not going to know what a K2 meter is. We're 2021. They're from, like you said, 1600s or even later. But it's interesting. But like I said, I put mine in a bear because it's a good trigger object. Yeah. And I've had it going off many times and little children coming forward. And then, but now what I want, I've got a REM pod bear as well now. So
I'm putting talcum powder down. The old Victorian method. You can't beat them really, can you?
Talcum powder. Yeah,
crystals, dowsing rods.
I asked them to touch the light and make it change colour. That's a good.
Yeah.
Point.
I want to get one of those touch lamps. So when you're obviously you've got to touch it for it to turn on. I think obviously they'll be quite good because we're always trying to think of different things to use. Your general kind of lamp, you know, it's just a lamp, but they've been around for 4 years. Yeah. But just a touch lamp maybe. Might just work. I don't know.
Yous are so much alike us. You talk about Victorian methods and try to think of different things. Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, we bought a compass. We took a compass out.
Yes. Yeah.
It didn't work, but you know, doesn't work one time. It might work 10 times down the line.
Yeah.
And it was Sarah that came up with another idea. No, it probably sounds nuts to people, but it was we got a bit of clothesline. And I cut up an old T-shirt and I tied the material onto the T-shirt, just in strips. Right. And we hung it up. When we hung it up, there was no breeze, but then the wind came, so we ended up. But the whole idea is that you take it into a place where there's no breeze, no drafts, you hang it up, and you ask the spirit to walk by it or touch it, and you put a candle underneath it to show that there is no draft.
Yeah.
You know, the candle burns through and the material moves, then
the flame don't move.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
That's
it.
good,
Oh.
good. And it's so basic as well.
It is, yeah. Again, you've got it around. It doesn't cost you hundreds of pounds. It's within your home.
Hi,
that's
Andy.
perfect. Hi, Andy.
feel free. Hey, Andy, buddy. Andy just recently moved. He's with the Air Force. He just recently moved to Las Vegas. He keeps putting pictures of sunsets and sunny days and streets and mountains and stuff, you know, and we're in Scotland. So I think he's just in, basically. He has a good, we've known him for quite a while. Him and his wife, really nice people. But it's things you find lying about the house you can use.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
I've got loads of porcelain dolls. I don't even know how many. I think I've got between 100, like between 80 and 100. But what I do is I then create them into something a little bit more spooky. So I smash their face up, kind of glue it back together in different ways, and then paint a creepy face onto them. And I've actually got from 30 East Drive, because when we went the second time, we found little notes asking for forgiveness because people's taken a bit of coal from the coal shed. So I wanted to put
and
that.
They returned it, didn't they?
And they returned the bit of coal asking for forgiveness with a little note. So I wanted to kind of put that to the test. It's now one of my dolls.
It's her heart.
It's her black heart.
Black heart.
So I've created a vessel. And since I put the coal in her chest, her name's Victoria. Stuff just goes on in my flat all the time, but
I've got a bit of Whitby Abbey wool, which I got one of my 7, 8-year-olds to go and steal. So I'm thinking, can we do the same thing with Whitby Abbey? You've got the devil, and I've got a load of nuns and priests. So
yeah, we call the bit of coal in Victoria's heart the devil shit.
Devil shit.
People just say, "What's in her heart?" The devil shit. It's fine.
We never took. We took a ball last night was because there was meant to be kids there, and we had it down in the basement, and then we moved up to the stairwell, and one of the girls took the ball up to the stairwell there, and we did say you'll need to return that down to the basement. I said, I'm going back down the basement. Are you nuts?
I'm not going down there.
You've gifted that to whatever spirit might be there. You need to take it.
Yeah.
So I says, well, give me the bloody ball. I'll take it back down and have it in the room. And I just says, there's your ball back. And I put it on the floor. We go eventually we see the balls in the same place when we get back, I think the old-fashioned methods, again, they're harder to debunk as well. They're harder for somebody to, a compass. You can't fix a compass.
Yeah. It's like in the antique shop, because I love going into antique shops, not for one because of all the treasures that I find, and my purse is always empty because of it, but it's the history of the objects and where is that coin, because you can buy some coins in the antique shop that I go to, and the old 1900 coins, it's got the king on them. Who held them?
Yeah.
How many hands and pockets and purses and wallets have they been in?
Aye.
So the places that we go to, because we were very we do it strategically. I've said it correctly today. We make sure we take the correct equipment that would fit that era of what we're kind of investigating, and then we'll throw a little curveball in with some ping pong balls or a little car, because they might be attracted to it because they're like, well, what's that? Like,
it's the idea of things that have got absorbed the energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you go to some of these old manor farms and manor houses, and they've got the old furniture still there, and like say there was a dish that they ate off at Christmas every year, or an ornament that's been in the family for years, there's something that holds that energy. So antiques and things like that, that's definitely a loved ring, or something that a loved dolly. It's something that can create energy.
Dolly, you told I'll just comment on, and then I'll carry on what you're saying there. I bought a small bit of Lochmaben Castle. I did say it was a family heirloom, but never thought to try to work with it.
try. You never know.
That's exactly
You
that.
never know. If nothing happens the first time, just keep trying. If you then feel that there's no energy from it, then maybe just put it to one side, but bring it back out at a later date.
Some of the best places to do paranormal investigations are museums. We went to where is it? In Rifles Museum, and then there's also Tor Abbey and Torquay Museum. There's got some great stuff in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you think the history, as you say, these things have seen. It's like, it's quite sad. Really, this place we're going to, it turns out it was a part of the lower end of the state was a children's hospice.
Yeah.
And we went in the other day. The place is, just derelict, but there's loads and loads of kids' toys lying about, plastic bites and numerous things, kids' slippers and that. And you would never touch them. We just left everything the exact way it was. But when you look at these things and you think, about the kids that had used them or played with them or whatever, the amount of energy that must be in all these, objects, as you say, it can attract them. It's I mean, the other thing I was what was investigations. Do you think there's a right and wrong way to do it? What's your do you have a favourite method of investigating, or?
Respect is the first thing.
We always, we do like a little protection chant. So all of us 10 of us, we all work differently. So like yourself, you did your protection chant one way, but I did mine a completely different way.
Yeah.
It means we always start off with that. And
it's intent at the end of the day. You're intending to protect them over somebody. Yeah.
And then naturally, once we then put that protection, because especially my group last night, the ladies were a bit scared going down the tunnels, and because they've had people tell them what's happened there before. So I think they're a little bit.
It's like a magic feather, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely put the protection up on them, and as you said, respect. We don't no disrespect to them.
I don't like swearing and things like that.
No. We
a little heckle is okay.
We rock the table.
Yeah. A little heckle, but nothing too aggressive or rude. No.
Yeah, no. It's some of the guys in my group last night. Obviously they know the spirit that's down there, so they were obviously doing a little bit more heckling that me or you might do. But that's because they have that relationship with the spirit, so they know how to go with them and know how far to go
and not
cross the line.
Not to say that the spirits, they can be rude to us and they can be really scary, can't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
We for that. Would you say it's just like in real life? You'll meet a person in life and you'll be able to joke to, say for instance, you, Sarah, if me and another guy work for you, well, maybe you're more friendly with this guy and he could maybe joke with you more than, he could maybe, go below the belt a wee bit. And I'm like, can you say that? Oh, no, it's fine. I can say it.
Absolutely.
It's the exact same way in with spirit. You learn, as you said, Rosie, there's a line. And the more you go, the more you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know what a spirit will tolerate, and what might. I'm not going to say it's going to get you out of trouble, but you get a kind of sense. Yourself. You get this kind of sense about you, sort of thing. And spirits can be rude. We went to a couple of weeks ago, and Sarah called a two-faced sea through the app. With a few people watching who were in notches laughing. The amount of words we had coming through, the abuse we were getting was unbelievable. One of the girls as well, another place we went, we take a chair for Sarah. It's like a camping chair. And she was sitting on it and she says she got her backside squeezed. And it was none of us, we never touched. But she just sat and she suddenly tied. She says, that just gave my AR arse felt basically.
Oh no!
Something just. So I was right on that seat. I was like, right, come on.
My turn.
Yeah, they can be a bit touchy-feely, can't they? We've been to places where there's been some a bit of foreplay, should I say?
And I tell the spirit has no, like they don't care if it's male or female.
No, they don't.
Wimmering
Manor has got an aggressive spirit there.
Wimmering Manor, as you were saying, I always walk in there. As soon as you put the spirit box on, I will be called a bitch.
Yeah.
And as soon as I leave, the guests will then have a perfect interaction and will get the person's name, and the person will tell them exactly who they are. But as soon as I walk back in, they'll stop communicating with the guests because I've walked in and then get called bitch.
Yeah. But they all come out with the same name of the spirit that is an arse.
Yeah. Everyone, even if people has never been there, never
before.
heard the stories,
He'll come out.
He
always does.
He always comes out.
That's similar to, I don't know if you've ever heard the Mr. Boots.
Mr. Boots, I've heard that before.
He's in the Blair Street Vaults in Edinburgh. Mr. Boots has been the kind of caretaker sort of thing in charge of the vault when people lived down there. But he was a bit of a bad bee, and he used to abuse his position and women and beat kids up. He wasn't a nice guy.
Yeah.
There's one room in there they call Mr. Boots's room. Several mediums were in, says they picked up on the body of a girl lying on the left-hand side of the room. But there's been numerous reports about him swearing at people, touching them, hitting them, you name it. He is quite an aggressive spirit.
Yeah.
Same as the Covenanters prison and Greyfriars, that's separate from Greyfriars, but there's over 3,000 documented reports of people getting pushed, shoved, scratched, fainting. They don't know what it is. A lot of people blame the Mackenzie poltergeist. We've all got views on that. But there is definitely, they don't know what it is, but there is something there that just keeps attacking people. That's why the Covenant of the prison is now locked up, because the council basically said enough's enough.
Yeah, wow.
And the prison's now.
I want to go.
We've been in the prisoners. In the prisoners, it's called the Black Mausoleum. This is where the attacks have happened. A lot of people mistake it for Mackenzie's tomb, but it's not. Mackenzie's tomb is in the actual Greyfriars Yard itself. The Black Mausoleum the Dundas family are buried there. So it's got nothing to do with the Mackenzie tomb. But the coincidental thing is 1998, Mackenzie's tomb was broken into by a homeless guy just looking for a place out the rain. He reported being attacked by this old grey looking man kind of thing.
Oh gosh. Wow.
It was after the tomb was broken into that these attacks started happening in the prison. So it was just separate places. And so there's over 3,000 attacks. We've been in the Black. When you walk through Greyfriars, we get a feeling of peace and calm. If you've been watched through all angles, but as you walk into the prison, it's a totally different atmosphere. Yeah. It's a wee bit darker. You walk into the Black Mausoleum, the atmosphere changes again.
I love it.
We need a trip for Scotland, don't we?
Yeah. As soon as we can get off that border, we're coming.
We're lunching. We're coming up.
We videoed one. I think it's on our Facebook page or YouTube channel. We got a tour with Jamie Christoffel, who runs. Well, he doesn't own it, but he runs City of the Dead tours, who look after Greyfriars, and they've got access to the prison. They're the only people with access to the prison. They do tours in there, and he took us in one day and gave us a walkabout. We did film it. It's an amazing place. You come to Scotland, you need to go there. You can't miss it.
We're coming.
We're
up.
No, it'd be missed. But there's a few places up here. But then there's a few places down there. I'd like to go. Cannock Chase. What, have you ever been to Cannock Chase?
No, I haven't.
No.
There's so all the places that we've been. So sometimes we get given a place and we're like, no, I've never even heard of it. But then I'm thinking, actually, after the live, I'm like, yes, I have heard of it. But no, I have heard of this place, but I've never been to this place.
No, we'll have to do like a switcheroo, won't we?
Yeah.
You come down to us, we go up there. We can run an event at your end, you can run an event down this end.
That would be good. Kathy was up in Edinburgh. Kathy was up in Edinburgh about a month ago. Kathy was it, and her daughter got bitten at Greyfriars. But no, that's a good idea to swap room. We're going down to Nottingham in October, 16th October. It's a team called GSI. They're on Paraflix. We're quite friendly with them. So they're filming they started filming season 2 of their Paraflix. So they invited Sarah and I to come down and appear in one of the episodes. So we're heading down to Nottingham. I'm not allowed to say where they're going. You know, I know we're about to say.
Oh, awesome.
Looking forward to it. Cannock Chase is definitely a place we'd love to do with the black-eyed children, you know.
Whether it's are they the ones that you don't let in your house, the black-eyed children, and they can attack you?
We Cannock Chase, it's said now again. It's said there was 2 bodies found, 2 kids' bodies. A father had murdered them, a boy and a girl. He took them to Cannock Chase and he buried them in the woods. Wow. But they were found, and the father was arrested. But he committed suicide. So this boy and girl are said to roam the forest there. God. There is a male presence being picked up who kind of looks after the children. This is what they're saying, and a lot of people reckon it's the father. Who's trying to keep people away from the children. Now, as I say, it's all speculation. This is the stories that's been told over the years. Kathy's saying she didn't find any black-eyed children, but that has been reported that they are there. Whereas, you know, it's like everything else.
And that's different again. Every night's different, isn't it? Like one night you've picked up something, but somebody else has picked up completely different. But another group picked up the same, both things.
But I need to warn you, if you do decide to take a trip up, there's several car parks around that area, and they're all used for a certain purpose at night time.
I got that.
That's up your street. So don't put in your hazards on or your blinkers, and don't leave your window open.
It's a well-known hotspot for it, so I'm just giving you a wee bit. If you do decide to go and park in the car park,
and they're not walking their dogs either.
They're walking their dog, and they don't have a. There's no look.
Oh, that's brilliant! Thank you for the tip on that one.
a wee bit of one, but no, we should do that. The swap over, that would be really good. So, recently, I don't know how the subject came up, but I've been talking to a lot of people about the human pendulum.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the human pendulum?
Like a lot of things, it can be easily manipulated. But then, if we use the guests to do that, we
don't do them ourselves. No, we'll have the guests do them,
and we want to encourage them to open up to their supernatural side and their psychic side. So we do them. Yeah. But there's a lot of speculation about it, isn't there?
Yeah. So we actually did it. Oh God.
Manor Farm.
I wasn't in your group on that one.
Yeah.
So last time I did it was at Fort Whitley, but not last night's one. A couple of weeks ago. A month or so ago.
Merley, wasn't it? Was it Merley? We did it together.
No, I did it at Fort Whitley with Jamie.
All right.
Yeah. And because we had 3 skeptics come that night. And they actually left after the human pendulum. They actually left on the fence. So I then, because he was really going backwards, I then had to kind of go in the middle of the circle with him and not hold him, but I had my hands kind of there so if he can lean back into them. And I will admit, I felt this cold breeze and my hairs go on the end, not for a good excitement. It was a chill factor. So again, I do feel that your body consciously will go forward, can go sideways, or go back, because naturally you sway naturally. But I will admit, on that one, I have done them many times. Well, watched them many times, but this one,
and the person that's doing it as well, they say they feel like they're being overcome by something, and it's the same with scrying. You're asking the spirit to overtake your body, use your body, but then you're also leaving yourself open to other elements that could be you know, a bit dodgy, if you know what I mean. Because what would you do? It's happened where we've had the human pendulum, and then they've been that sensitive that they felt like they've been really overwhelmed, and they've opened themselves up so much that something has come through a bit more than what you want, and then you're in a situation where you've got to deal with that, and you've got to take the guest out and say, you know, get off, leave it alone. It's yeah. If they're happy to do it, we'll do it. We know what to do if shit goes down. Excuse my French.
Not at all. Kathy's asking where you are based.
Oh, so we're in Southampton, in Hampshire, down the south, in England.
But we most of them in Portsmouth. We do Portsmouth events. Yeah, we go all over.
Yeah, so actually we've got our events page up quickly. So we're based Southampton, and we do Portsmouth. We do Southampton. We're going to Wales. We're going to Pontefract. So we're going to 30 East Drive next year. We've got Manor Farm. We've got Merley. We've got Antwerp Mansion in Manchester.
I'm looking forward to that one.
So we've got that one on Saturday, the 13th of November.
Gosport.
Yep, Gosport and Fareham. So again, that's local to us. So we do a lot of locals, but we do go up and down the country as well.
Margam Castle.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? Margam Castle.
Yeah, and then Antwerp Mansion.
Oh, we've got prison as well. What's the other one?
Shepton Mallet.
Yeah.
And that's I visited there this Tuesday, and the 1600 cells, they're amazing.
You've got to crawl in a hole.
You've got to crawl in a hole. Well, somebody with arthritis, I was like, I'm getting in that hole. I don't care. I'm gonna hurt.
She was like a determined sperm. She was in that egg.
I'm wiggling in. I had my partner holding my coffee and my partner holding my bag, and I was in. And I will say, it's fantastic prison. My partner's very like brush it off the shoulder what happens, because I think he's very doesn't want to believe, but he knows it's there, and not even he could deny the stuff he was hearing in the
it was empty
A wing. Yeah, it was empty. We went on a Tuesday, so Kiddie Winkles were at school and everyone was at work. It was my day off work, and so we went, and footsteps around A wing, and you couldn't even, there was nobody stood there.
And up the road, what have we got up the road? We've got Victoria Country Park. So you know Florence Nightingale.
Yeah,
the hospital that she worked in, that is just up the road from us. And we go in the graveyard there, the military graveyard. We've been in, actually, they burnt down the hospital, but they've got the middle bit. They've got the chapel. Yeah, and we do paranormal investigations.
And you
can
go up the bell tower, see where the grey lady is. Yeah. The ground
itself is really haunted.
Yes.
The amount of English people we spot and they say, "Oh, we've got nothing done here." You know, we've got it all up in Scotland. No, haven't they? You get tons of stuff. I mean, that Antwerp Mansion.
Yeah.
Haunted Hunt's done that. I watched their episode and it looked really, really good.
Oh, we can't wait. We go in this. So was it? Oh God, what was the date for Antwerp? Saturday the 13th of November. We still have got tickets. It's £40 and it's a sleepover as well. So I don't have to pay for accommodation in Manchester. So we're going, the whole team's going. We've got a few guests going as well. I can't wait, because none of us have been there. And that's what we like, because none of us can manipulate each other. We can't tell each other what's happened because it's all new to us. We're going in blind on this.
Have you done a sleepover, Scott? You done sleepovers?
No, we were planning doing with this current one. We were talking about camping the other night to the girl who's a resident, but then I thought, well, knowing me, you know, I'd go and pitch a tent and I wouldn't be in the tent, I'd be wandering about, so, you know.
On the ground.
The hell with the tent, just leave that in the house, you know. We're going to do overnights in this place, just wander about for the whole night, but we've not done sleepovers as yet. You see, with everything that happened with lockdown, we're just starting to get back on our feet and with a load of stuff that we want to do. So, like everybody else, we're just trying to get through but the stuff we'd planned. But this location came up, we couldn't knock it back. You know, it was Sarah that found it, we couldn't say no to it, and we're all focused on this. But we're planning a couple of overnight ghost walks, just ourselves wandering off into the forest. And see what happens.
No, that's what I want to do. I might just even take my camp bed. Won't take the tent, but take the camp bed and just lay there and just watch through the trees, the stars. Just listen around you, and see what walks up behind you, I think.
That's it. As I say, I was going to take a tent, but then if the more thought about it, I said, I wouldn't be in a tent. I couldn't sleep. I'd be like, I'm off. I'm going to do it, because there's quite a lot of woodland area there as well.
Yeah.
And you'd be away, I thought, forget the tent. I mean, sod that. If we're tired, we can sit down on a log or something like that for 10 minutes, take a breath, and then carry on. Have you ever had an attachment from investigations, and if so, how do you deal with them, Big Gail?
Yeah. So obviously you had.
I had that thing that came home with me. I was grabbing at 3 o'clock in the morning. A small hand grabbed my foot and my husband's foot. We both thought it was one of the children at the end of the bed. Then we slept with the lights on that night. And then as the weeks went on, my eldest son, I think he must have been about 14 or 13 at the time, he was getting punched in the stomach in the night. And then the younger ones, that was about 5, they were saying, it keeps saying my name, Mummy. Something's talking, and we could hear whispering in the corner of the room. So I'd obviously brought something back with me. And like that, I've been told by like psychics and mediums, it is about intent. So this is my home, this is my domain. Only people that have permission, or even spirits have permission, are allowed to stay here. So I went around every single room, and I said with determination, get the fudge out of my house. This is my house. You are not welcome. Get out.
Yeah.
And after that, and I did put a crucifix up. I mean, I do believe in a higher force, and I think that he's up there. He'll look after me. And I put a crucifix in my son's room, and I said the same thing. Get out. And that was it. Nothing.
Yeah.
Everything. And I did have these strange drips of water.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And we did a Ouija board, and you had the same thing. Yeah. And I was talking to Sarah Lemos, and I said it was happening all the time in the house that this was happening to, all the weird stuff that was happening. We'd get this little drip of water, and it would be summertime, it would be winter time, the house wasn't damp at all, and it would just be crazy. And every so often it would happen. She said it was ectoplasm. Right. That makes complete sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's intent. Just tell it to get the hell out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And also when we go on investigations, I always tell our guests, when you leave this place, you say, any spirit people, you stay here, you are not welcome in my home. And say that before you get in the car, and mean it, really mean it. Yeah. And that should just put a stop to it.
If as I always kind of go with like exactly those words, you stay here, even if they've been a friendly spirit, I say to them, I will come back and visit you, but you're not to follow me across this gate or doorway.
You need a safe space, don't you?
Yeah.
You need time to break away from it.
You've got to have your bubble and break away from it at least.
We always Neil had actually to remind me last night to close the room, but I always tell him, you don't have permission to come, you follow us, anybody in the group, to attach to any possessions of anybody in this group. You must stay here, we will come back, etc. I think it's important that you do that. I know a lot of people, as you said earlier on, they've got different ways of saying it, but as you said, it's the intent, it's your faith, words are words. Everybody can say, but it's whether you believe those words.
Yeah,
to me.
I mean it from the heart. Yeah, mean it.
Everybody can stand there and say, right, what, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, and then walk away. I know, mean it. And then something falls on home. But they think because it's midday words, they're fine.
Yeah.
So you need to have that faith behind them, as you said, a higher power. A lot of people maybe call it God, all different names. I believe that there is something, a higher power. What it is, we don't know. We might never know,
No,
Well, we do the cleansing. We adapt it to that person. If they believe in God, we'll do the cleansing, the words that intend to just evict that spirit. We adapt it. So if we're going to someone who's a Muslim or someone like that, we adapt it to how their beliefs are.
Yes.
It, like I said, it's all about intent.
Yes. So that's my this is my mum.
I was there.
It's my mum. So she said, what about Albert? So Albert, he came on an investigation one time, is not a real person. I believe is a spirit guide. He tries to act as my spirit guide, but he's really not. He will manipulate nights. If someone's doing dowels and rods and crystals, like last night, my group work, nothing was happening. As soon as I walked away, things were happening.
He's come from
because he came through. He came on through Glass and Marble, and it was at Manor Farm. It was with my mum Emma, my partner, and my brother. And Glass and Marble, never even heard of the word Albert. I'd say never. I've got a great granddad who was, his first name was Albert, but I think we called him David, so it's a great granddad to me. But
you do.
Makes complete sense that way.
Yeah, no sense. But we were using Glass and Marble. We were going through the alphabet, spelling out his name, came through as Albert. I reminded him of somebody, of a loved one who ran off with his best friend when he died in the Battle of Somme. And my brother was the person who looked like his best friend. So I was like, that's a bit weird because it's my brother. And he's just stuck ever since.
He's hanging about.
I can't get rid of him, and I feel sometimes I don't want to get rid of him. I think there's always, he tries to manipulate. If I want to go for a reading, a psychic reading or tarot card reading, it will be manipulated into a completely different, because he overrules that.
You got an old man chasing you about.
Basically, it's an old man. Sarah said it was a bit of a creepy old man. He's told me to cut him off here. I've tried, but he creeps back up again. So he's never meant.
A wee flame for you. He's got a wee flame for you.
I'm a little floozy.
You watching him in the shower?
Yeah, I do. In the shower, I do say that is my domain. That is my safe place. You do not enter the bathroom door, because that's my personal space in the bathroom.
I would say that in the shower, and if you go to the bathroom and that, like, Albert, just give me 10 minutes, I'll be back,
Yeah, you'll be booted out.
Chris, interesting you say it, because I was going to ask you, do you feel, we all have spirit, everybody said, a lot of people say spirit guides, we've always somebody watching a guardian angel, whatever, there's all different names for them. Do you believe that a spirit can take a liking to you for no reason at all, even the first time they might encounter you?
I think that's probably maybe how Albert is, maybe with me, because I obviously I remind him of a past loved one. So I don't think why I put his name in quotes, my spirit guide, because I don't think he is my spirit guide, but I think he tries to act like my spirit guide, so he's always with me. But I don't think he's meant to be with me. I don't think he's meant to be there for real. I think he's just obviously taken a liking to these crazy space buns, and my personality maybe.
I was watching in New Orleans, they all celebrate Day of the Dead, don't they? And they say that your ancestors are there watching over you.
Yeah.
And I like to think that my stepdad's there and my nan's there. Yeah. And I remember I had a really awful time at Manor Farm. I think this is actually the time that I told you about the scratches and on the way back, I used to do ghost hunting on my own, and I used to drive all the way back on my own, and my radio was going crazy, and the central heating wasn't coming on. It was freezing cold in the car, and I felt really creeped out that this had happened to that young girl with the scratches down her neck. And my stepfather, who brought me up from the age of 2, we dumped him over Thornhill. It sounds awful. We emptied his ashes over this house that he really loved on Thornhill Roundabout. He used to live there. My brother went there. I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you've done that. Surely that's illegal. It might have old teeth in or anything." And he just emptied Dad over the roundabout. So every time I go around Thornhill Roundabout in Southampton, I think of my dad. And anyway, coming back from Manor Farm through that way, radio's going all crazy. It's freezing. I'm really on edge over what happened. I feel like there's a presence in the car with me because I'm really freaking out. And I go in for this roundabout. I go, "Oh, Dad, please look after me. Please make sure I'm going to be all right. Is there anything here with me, please?" And all of a sudden, central heating, woof, kicks off. Radio, music comes on. Everything just seems like it's all cleared. But whether it was mind over matter, I don't know. But I do feel like maybe our loved ones are watchers. And even that woman that was poking me with her finger, I had a psychic medium telling me that could have been, with the eyes, because they look like mine, could have been my great grandmother, just looking at her new grandson that I'd given birth to. And then with the New Orleans thing with their ancestors, and they all sort of look after each other.
Yeah.
I think there's something in it, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there is. I mean, I've had 2 occasions in my life where, when I went to see a medium many years ago, this medium told me about my daughter that I'd lost. She told me about my dad. She told me about my gran. Bang on me details. Never been to this place before in my life. This medium, this spiritualist church. She told me about an ex-girlfriend I had way before I got married for the first time. I never spoke about this girl, but she passed away in America. Car crash. She got an asthma attack at the wheel one night. She was driving home and she crashed. She was killed instantly. This medium told me her name, the country, the cause of her death. And she says her name's Alison and she wants you to know she's watching over you. And so,
we cried.
you know, a couple of weeks later, I went to a different church and a totally different medium. And this lassie came on and says, I want to come to you. Alison says she's still watching over you.
Oh.
You know, talk to you soon, Gail. And so I've always thought that she was watching because a few years ago I used to drive vans for a living before the seatbelt law, and I never ever wore a seatbelt because my friend's mum was killed in a car crash. The car went on fire, and this is how they couldn't get the seatbelt off her. It jammed.
Oh.
So I never ever wore a seatbelt, and I get into trouble off it, everybody for it. I came out of Carlisle one day and I stopped for my break, and before I set off again, this thing was going round and round and round in my head. Put your belt on. Put your belt on. And so I did, you know. And about 40 miles from Glasgow, I was involved in a 7-car pilot.
Jeez.
Wow.
And my van was basically destroyed. A guy ran into me. I was sitting stationary in roadworks, and a guy in a van ran into me. The police says he was doing about 70 miles an hour when he hit my van. And the police said, if you hadn't had your seatbelt on, you would have been. I get shunted into the car in front of me, and there was about 7 cars all bang, bang, bang. The police says if you hadn't had your seatbelt on, you would have been through the windscreen and inside that other car.
Wow.
Jeez.
Gee, and as you said,
That's amazing.
it was going round and round in your head to put it on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even my boss, when I get back up the road, I'd whiplash and my shoulder was all done in. And my boss, my wife at the time, my daughter, why did you have your seatbelt? You never wear your seatbelt, Dad. You not, because the amount of trouble, the amount of ear tunes I used to get, would you put that bloody belt on? You know, that kind of. She said, you never wear your belt. Why did you wear your belt? I said, I don't know. I can't something tune it, put that belt on. Yeah. And I always put that down to whether it's Alison, whether it's somebody else, who knows? But I think
with you.
Have somebody watching over us. Or as you said, maybe it's a relative, maybe it's not, who knows?
I can totally relate to that. Yeah. If I had listened to something that was in my head at a time, my youngest would never have been born. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I was queuing up for something and I thought, oh, it'll be all right. And now he's here.
8 years later, she's got a baby.
But it was a voice in my head saying, "I'll be fine. Just go on, go and get in the car."
You don't need that little thing from the pharmacy.
But it was in my head saying it'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
And then you actually be pregnant.
Look I mean, there's one time I was going to visit a place in the afternoon, and all morning I had the name Isabella. I'm like, no, I don't know anybody called Isabella. I'm from Glasgow. You don't call people in Glasgow Isabella. Do you know what I mean? No offence to any Isabellas out there.
It's just not a name that you get.
It's an Italian name, isn't it?
It's just a name that I kept going running. I was in Tesco and all the rest, and I says to Sarah, "His name Isabella," in my head. She said, "Who?" I said, "I don't know." It's just I went to a place that afternoon. I met this guy and these 2 women, and they were saying, you know, this is such and such graveyard, and I just happened to say, I said, I've had this bloody name in my head, Isabella, and this lassie turned and just looked at me and says, "Isabella is my gran. I've been one since she passed away that she's still about." I said, "Well, it's been up there since Tesco this morning."
Yeah, she's doing a shop.
I was walking in Tesco, you know, in the veg aisle, having Isabella. Isabella going to do tomatoes, you know. And she said, that's my grand's name. And I've been looking for proof since she passed away that she's still here. I said, well, take that as you will. I'm just telling you, you know, I had them. But do you not find it's amazing the amount of things you can pick up? Sometimes it can be a spirit guide. It's the same as, but in life we'll all have problems, you know, and we'll sit and we'll think, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to solve this?
Yeah.
And at the very last minute, it works out.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've always thought that's something to do with spirit. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think the last, for me personally, the last month, so beginning of August, it was a good week. And then from the second week of August, it all just went downhill for me. So many things just happening, one after one after one after one. And I kept seeing the number 11. And my mum watching, she will correspond with me. Seeing the number 11 is one of the angels trying to give you a message. And I kept seeing the number 11, but the message weren't clear for me. Anywhere, the message was never clear. Now I've stopped seeing the number 11, and hopefully I get good news now. But I can just, everything happens for a reason. And yeah, it will always work out in the end. There's always light at the end of the tunnel for me. And, you know, hopefully we get to move back in my flat in the next couple of days, because we've been kipping with the sister-in-law for a couple of nights. We've been sofa surfing. But, yeah, spirits play a massive big part in your life. And they're always, whether it's loved ones or non-loved ones, Albert, they're always kind of there. Don't worry, it'll be all right. I was just definitely a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah. I find a lot of spirits seem to come to me when I'm asleep. I know it sounds daft, but I had a dream about my dad, and he died, my stepdad, sorry, and he died months. He'd been dead for months. So it was really funny how this happened. And I woke up absolutely drenched in tears. But this dream that I had was so real. And I was on the brink of breaking up a relationship that wasn't a good relationship, I must say. And I wasn't worried about breaking up with this fella. I just was thinking it's time for a change. And the dream came, my dad sort of took me up and he spun me around, and he was saying, I love you, Sarah, I love you. And I woke up crying. I'm thinking, you know, maybe that's him telling me that I'm on the right path here and my life is going to change for the better, and that I've made a decision that is good for me and that he's happy with.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I feel like it was like a crossroads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
And he was happy about that for me.
It gives you that wee bit of comfort knowing that there is somebody, you know, whoever it might be, you know, that is still about and watching you.
Yeah.
You know, watching over you kind of thing. No, what? You know, maybe Albert's watching you. Watching you. And even, I mean, my old flat, I used to live in a one-bedroom flat, and there was something in my house. That was a creature of habit. I've told this story many times. People in the work didn't believe me when I told them this, but it was true. I was a creature of habit. Every time I turned the TV off, I would put my remote control in front of the TV. So I knew exactly where it was, because I had a thing about losing remotes. You know, I hated people say, I've lost the remote. It used to annoy me. Sounds nuts.
Yeah.
But, you know, one day I came in and the remote wasn't there. So you start looking about, you're like that, right? And I lived myself. Nobody else had been in the house. I found my remote. I went into my bedroom ages later, and I saw this black thing underneath my bed. I had a double bed. And I said, what's it? And it was my TV remote.
Oh, no. What's it doing up there?
That's nuts. That's what I said. Well, why would I put my TV remote happy underneath my double bed?
I was going to say, yeah, you don't exactly hide it from anybody. It's a TV.
You know, I'm not going to hide it from myself, and then I need to guess where I put it. I'll put it in a safe place, you know. I'll put it under the bed, you know. Yeah. Same as keys as well. I had a habit as my dad that used to drum down to me. When you get into the house, turn, you know, lock your door, but then turn it 1/4 to the left. And she say, why? He says, well, if you get somebody try to break into your house, they can poke the key out. But if you turn the key, they can't. So it was a habit.
Yeah.
One morning I got up to go to work and the keys weren't in the door. Now I locked my door, even if I was going out of the house for 10 minutes, I used to lock the door. It was just, I wasn't scared of it, but it was just a habit. I got up to work one morning and the keys weren't in the door.
Oh.
Where's my keys? Can I? Or sitting in the coffee table in the living room.
Oh no.
I couldn't explain it. But I did give it in. I always believed I was a young guy. I did give him into trouble one night because I was watching the telly and my kitchen kind of ran off. I had a wee galley kitchen, so you can see right into my kitchen. One night I was watching the telly and my bin lid flew off. The bin was half full. And I was like, would you pack it in? I'm watching the film. And I just, you know.
Yeah.
And after that, nothing ever happened. I've got a thing about Buddhas, and I was kind of OCD with my Buddhas. And I would come home from work and notice that my Buddha, you know, one Buddha had maybe been moved, even just a wee bit. I always noticed it. So it was all the kind of wee things. But the bin lid coming off, that was it. I said, would you just, you know, beat I'm watching this film. Have you ever had experiences with that?
Yeah, so I used to live at the back of so there's a zoo in Southampton, it's called Marwell Zoo, and I used to live at the back of it. So I used to be a chef at the Marwell Hotel, and it was an old barn converted into a cottage. So there was 3 cottages to the barn, and then 1 cottage which was above the garage. So it was like a 1-bedroom studio. So I was in my flat. Upstairs flat was in France because it was the middle of nowhere, and you kind of started curtain twitching because if you saw a car go down your road, you're like, what are you doing down my road? Because you're not meant to be down here because you don't live down here. So you're very remote. And so he told me he's gone to France just to keep an eye on his car. So I know no one's upstairs, and I used to hear things walking around, and it used to sound like bowling balls, like going across the floor. Then it started coming down the stairs, and my bedroom, because mine was the ground floor flat to the cottage, hear the footsteps were coming down, but then there was things go on in there that the lights would turn on, the taps would turn on, the toilet seat would go up. So like someone's gone to the toilet, but then the cat food would always go missing. I don't know whether it was my partner eating it at the time. I don't know, but I wouldn't want to eat cat food. But I used to feed them pheasants because I used to do obviously shooting in the area I was in. It is land that you do some shooting, so it was just unexplainable in that house. But moved from there, and nothing really ever, other than with Victoria at my flat now, cat balls would go off. But nothing more like stuff like remote controls or phones or keys. None of them would go kind of missing.
No.
But the lady that we did a house cleanse for,
she had all that going on.
All of that. Her straighteners. Her
Teddy was on her bed.
Yeah, the TV remotes would be on her bed, but then they would go disappearing.
It would unplug stuff.
Turn switches on and off. It would move her elephant.
While we was there, all her clothes got pulled out of her wardrobe.
Yes.
We had a big rustle in her wardrobe, and all the clothes were just chucked on the floor. Her pants were chucked on the floor. Yeah,
because we were sat in her living room, and I was looking down the corridor because she was a bottom floor flat. She had just gone past the door to her walk-in wardrobe. She went towards the kitchen, and then next minute we were all stood there watching down the corridor, and you can hear this like metal like scraping sound to what me was automatically hangers on a metal pole. And we went in there, and one of her box lids had moved, and her bra and pants had been pulled out, and a couple of her dresses had gone. It's weird. It's unexplainable, and that's what you're trying to get the bottom of it, and you never know why.
I mean, we've got a spirit in here. We've got a capture on a laser grid. It's on the YouTube channel. We done an investigation in here last year. We've done 2 actually. Cat balls and all, but with the laser grid behind here is a wall, and the next day Sarah was reviewing the footage and she shouted me in with the laser grid on this wall, and she says, "Watch this," and this figure just shot. It was a millisecond, but she slowed it right down, and you can see the figure going across the laser grid. And sheer chance we Danny Moss coming in the Monday night, and I say to him, look, I want you to look at something because we spent the next day trying to debunk it.
Yeah.
We were out there looking for everything we could, and we could not debunk it. I was just Sarah and I, we were sitting over in that corner. The door was shut, the wee one was in bed, and this figure just was flying by. And we showed it that he says, I can't explain that.
Awesome.
And there's, you know, there's things happening here. What we done one night was we set up the camera and hooked up to the PC, and we just left it running. After about 6 minutes, it shows us going to our bed, which we did. After about 6.5 minutes, one of the cat balls went off.
Yeah.
Nobody here. Nice. Also had a couch in the corner, and remember the film Toy Story?
Yeah.
Dinosaur. Well, the camera clearly shows the dinosaur sitting at the end of the couch,
right,
at the right-hand side. The camera shut off after about 3.5 hours, but we came in the next morning, the dinosaur was at the other end of the couch.
Oh gosh.
That's awesome.
And
I love it.
Nobody had been in, it was just Sarah, me and the wee one. She was still in her bed. And I came in and I said, I could swear that dinosaur was on the other side. And I was Sarah, said, check the footage for last night. So I checked and I says, that's dinosaur. You don't see it moving. I says, the dinosaur was on that side. No, did you move? I said, no, I never moved it. I said, I just noticed shifted. I'm not saying it likes the remote as well. I'm not saying it up and floated away.
No.
We can't explain it. You know.
Who's moved it and why?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they not like the dinosaur there? Did it look better at the other end? Why?
Yeah.
It's just that's the crazy part, and it is sometimes a little frustrating because you can't understand why, or you can't get the answer why. But to capture that evidence, it's amazing. I love it.
The only poltergeist kind of thing I've sort of experienced is that I wanted to rent a flat in Tatwin Crescent in Thornhill. Went to go and view it, and I walked in there. My dad said, "Look, this is the right price, everything. You know, just take it." And it's like, there's a weird, eerie feeling about it. I can't put my finger on it. I don't think it's right. Anyway, I bought this book called Haunted Hampshire, and it was in there for flipping poltergeist activity. There was glass framing in the door. Apparently, this face is punched up against it. There's stuff that's been thrown. So my sixth sense must have picked up on that.
Kicked in.
And then there was another experience. I rented a flat opposite Thornycrofts in Woolston, and I was laying on a put-up bed in the living room, and I was like just nodding off, and I could feel the weight of it. Felt like a small child on my legs, and then it was crawling its way up to my body. And I felt movement over the covers and this weight on my body. And I picked the duvet up, I flung it up in the air, turned the lights on and says, look, go and haunt one of those flipping 3-bedroom houses up the road there. Where not a poxy 1-bedroom. Whispers in different languages in my ear. I mean, that's the only thing really I've experienced. I would love to see something move. That would be, we went to was it Stansted House, and they've got a wheelchair, put a cat ball on the wheelchair, and that cat ball it moved. So it just pinged. It's like someone went ping, and it just flipping shot across the room. It was awesome.
So we let the guests use, because we always say to guests, bring equipment with you, because then we haven't tampered with it, if that's what they think. Sometimes think we've tampered with it. But these guests brought their own cat balls. Yeah. But they did one cat ball in its casing, so as you would buy it from the shop, and one out of the casing. And they stuck one casing up in there was an antler, like a deer head, hanging up on the wall. So they stuck it in the antlers. It didn't like the antler bit. And then the other one on top of this old wheelchair. Yeah. It was flat. Hadn't moved. It went off a couple of times, didn't it?
But it did feel like someone just flicked it.
It was literally just like someone's flicked it, and it literally launched across the, and we were all sat at this big table on these benches.
And you just see
all
everyone
of our legs
stand
go
up, and everyone just like shoot across towards the door. They all chat
Yeah.
themselves. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
That was awesome.
If that happened as well, Karen sees my daughter Sam watched a nail clipper slide along my chest of drawers one morning.
Wow.
Oh,
That's awesome.
that would be awesome.
Oh, awesome. So now clips obviously literally just slide across. Oh, it's amazing when you see something like that capturing, and you're not always filming unless you've got cameras inside your house. I don't, but it's.
But that's how we done an investigation of Kirkyard. We had the cat balls on a metal railing, and I was standing with phone. I was filming the live, and my phone was on the cat ball, and I turned a fraction to the left, so the camera was just off the cat ball, no more. And the cat, I heard it hit off. There's a tomb facing it, maybe 5-6 feet away for this railing, and it bounced off. And I says, "Did you throw that? Nobody touched it."
Oh, brilliant.
Flicked off. But when I watched the footage back, you can see the cat ball flying by the phone, but you can't see the railing. Then we remembered we had a locked off camera.
Right.
So we looked at that, and you can see there's nobody there. Nothing.
Brilliant.
But that cat ball, just as the way you just somebody flicked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You hear the plastic against the concrete, and what was that? But I wish I hadn't turned at the second, because I just turned, it's one of the moments.
Yeah.
If I hadn't turned that second, we would have caught it. But you don't see it flying across the screen. You just don't see it taking off.
No. Well, we were all sat there, wasn't we? Because we were sat like on a bench, it's a massive big long bench and 2 wooden benches at a big table. And we were all facing the wheelchair because it's where the cat ball was. And we hadn't had too much going on that night, had we? So we had like a good few bits going on, because what we do is the 3 groups will rotate around the night. So you all go into different areas, so noise can't bleed into the second group or the third group. So we're all kind of all eyes on these cat balls. And I think one of us said, or one of the guests said, can they move the wheelchair? Well,
we didn't expect the cat
ball. Expect the cat ball to just launch across the. But unfortunately, we didn't have any cameras rolling because it was our last vigil. It was literally coming to the end of our vigil, because then they go into their free time. So then our guests can go off wherever they like through the night for 45 minutes. And obviously that's where we get to capture our notes and get our equipment back together. So it was just literally coming to the end, wasn't it? And
actually, last night as well, when we were down the West Tunnel, and there was something on Paranormal caught on camera with a guy. He got touched down the West Tunnel. We did our automatic writing, and we had the pen on a planchette, screwed into a planchette, and it was on a whiteboard. And then we put the full spectrum camera in front of it. And when we come back, it moved a bit. Now, we haven't checked the footage yet. So if the line is pretty long, it's like about maybe 9-10 inches long. And we've come back and we thought, oh my gosh, that's moved. So if we've checked the footage over the weekend, I'll put it up there. But that's down the same tunnel that Paranormal caught on camera had the cameraman get pushed over. Yeah. It's right in the same area as well. You know where you put your hand out for the little boy to hold your hand?
Yeah.
Right there.
Awesome.
I want to know how that works out. That would be amazing to see. But anyway, you do get a lot of things caught off cameras. But last night, the wee swing park we went to, the girls got an uneasy feel. So I'm a big believer in, if any of our team don't feel comfortable in a location or comfortable enough to carry on, we just shut it down. Call it a day. That's it, because the team comes first. So we went back to the cars. I mean, this is middle of nowhere, and it's with country lanes in the state. And I don't know where it was. I was standing with a car, and I kept being drawn over to the bottom of the lane. And it's maybe about 300 yards, and then it splits into a Y shape.
Right.
The road goes round in a circle in this estate. So, and I started, and I had the key 2 meter in my hand, and I was just walking down, and it started bang, bang, up to yellow, up to red. Nice. So I was down at the junction, and I'm saying, right, come on, do it again, and bang, we do it again. I wasn't filmed or nothing. I was just saying myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you get that wee buzz, even though
Yeah.
filming. Like, I wish I was filming this, but it happens. So we're going to do an investigation just at that one bit as well.
Nice.
Because it was on command. I said, right, come on. I was kind of joking with whoever it was, I said, right, do it again.
Yeah.
Come on.
Probably won't happen if you film it.
No, it's always
happen. Sod's law that it won't happen again. But as I said, well, you've done it once, you can do it again. Let's go.
Definitely.
Put it right and bang up it went.
Yeah.
And everybody else could see because it was pitch black. And so obviously it does go, and they can see it to where there was. I says, this meter's going. I said, we can see it.
Yeah.
And it's just one of the times. But that's what makes the paranormal so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's unpredictable.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
No.
What you're going to hear, see, feel, smell, taste, whatever. And that's what makes every investigation so different. And that's what gives you the bug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chasing that dragon.
It's like I'm gonna give 2 shout outs to 2 of the lads that have been joining us. They've done 3, and well, actually, one of them's done 3 continuous ghost hunt with us, and he's never been with us before until his first time. And each time he does one, he then goes and buys another ticket. So his name's Kian, but we call him Bear, and we call his mate Beanie Ben. Because my group, I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, I never remember.
And they always get nicknames. And if you get seen again, you still got that nickname because I'll remember your nickname. And it's like with them, they came on their first one, they had a little bit. They come to the second one, they had a little bit more.
They're skeptical, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't believe it.
They came, Kian, came back to Whitley last night, which was his first location. And he had a little bit more happen. And he's happy again. I said, "Are you going to book on again?" He said, "Yeah, when's your next one?" He's got that bug. He's got the paranormal bug, and he keeps coming. So, shout out to you, Bear.
And the fact that he keeps getting bit by bit, I think is better than you get a total skeptic coming to investigation and other stuff happens because they've set that up.
Yes.
And then if you're a skeptic and you come and you get wee snippets every time. You start to choose away, chips away. Well, maybe that happened and that happened, then this happened, and as you say, the mind starts to come.
This is how we kind of go through, isn't it? We all we do is just guide them.
Yeah,
we let them
put them in the right places.
Put them in the right places. Here's your equipment. You do the talking.
We
might help start them, but
guide them through it. Yeah, we had a guest come through. She was using a Ouija board, not my ideal choice but she was doing it with her partner, and she had a grandma come through, which we try not to entice that, do we? No. And she was absolutely in tears and she was crying and everything, and it does happen. And then there's another guy who was using a dowsing rod, and one of his friends comes through that hung himself, and it can get a bit emotional sometimes. And they don't expect that. So when that does happen as well, it makes it more real for them because it's something that only they would know. So we always say, ask a question that only your grandma would know
and tell a lie.
And tell a lie.
Ask for a lie.
And when it comes through, like she said, where did you used to take us? And it comes through Woolworths. And it was very true.
And it was true, yeah. So we always try and, if they are having their family members, because we always explain that
it might not be.
Because they might, a spirit's picked up that you could be vulnerable to your past loved one, and manipulate into that. So
it could be demonic. Yeah.
So we always say, ask for a lie, basically you're trying to trick the spirit, whether that is your loved one or a non-loved one, and if that confirms it for you, because only that person's going to know the question or the answer to it.
Yeah.
So. That's obviously then confirms who they're talking with.
Yeah, or ask something really personal that only you would know. Yeah.
That's just very confused, Emily. Just before we're at, I just noticed the time. We usually just run for over an hour. We're not for nearly 2.5.
I'll hit the video after this, I think.
My question for Kathy is, how do you feel with using music? I had a table jigging away to Sweet Home Alabama, and it's Shepton. That's different, Kathy.
Well, with Manor Farm? What do we sing in Manor Farm?
We sing Ring a Roses in Manor Farm.
Or Old MacDonald.
Or Old MacDonald. We sing nursery rhymes because we know children reside there.
Yeah, and it's about the plague as well.
And it's about the plague. And yeah, definitely music. I think me, if when I pass and I'm coming back as a spirit, I will be tampering with your radio, putting my tunes on that I want to listen to.
Yeah.
Or if anyone has like music boxes, because people use them as trigger objects with motion sensors, I'll be jigging to that music.
Oh, and the guy that we did the sweep with, he put on a song about his grandma.
Yes. Yep.
And everyone felt this cold, that everyone had the goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely music has a big part, because I think
brings back emotion,
and memories for a lot of people. And I'm a stone tape theory person, so I believe the walls and the Mother Earth is showing you a memory. But then there's another belief that I believe in, that the spirit just loves being around their humans.
Yeah.
Whether that's loved ones or non-loved ones, they just love the company.
And that we have a laugh with the accents, but it's all about the earth. If you think everyone around different areas of America, of Scotland, of Wales, what are these accents about? How crazy is it? It's got to be something to do with spiritual, the earth, the way we talk, the way we think. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely connected.
Yeah,
that is really, really weird. But we'll wind up. We just talk about. We finished. Sarah just talk about accents. I know you tried to do a Scottish one earlier on before we went live, so I thought we'll wind it up with you trying it on a live. What do you think, Rosie? Do you think we should? I should get. And
you know, Scottish accent.
He's done it before we started the live, so I think you should maybe just try it on a live, because you've been listening to me for 2.5 hours, so you seem to pick it up.
2.5 hours. I need to copy what you say, so that would be easier for me.
You can do it. I can't push a granny.
I can put a. What?
I can't. Oh, you can't push a granny off a bus.
Oh, you can't push a granny off a bus.
Oh, you can't push a granny off a bus.
Get out. Get out.
She's your mommy's mommy. And you can't push a granny. Aye.
Oh, give me something to say. Give me something to say, and I can see if I can do it.
Robert, moonlight neck to neck.
Oh, say it again.
You got to roll the R's.
It's a broad brick moonlight neck to neck.
It's a brune.
It's a brune. You gotta get some saliva going. It's a broad brick moonlight neck to neck.
It's a broad brick neck.
It's a broad brick moonlight neck to neck.
I failed. I'm sorry. I
failed. Job than you. She's probably better job than you. But I do applaud your effort, ladies. I just
Thank you.
I just wanted to see if you could do it. No, that was it.
If you can do it, I'm probably more better copying what you would say than obviously doing like your little, how you say things, obviously your little phrases for when the moon is out tonight.
I mean, my dad was married to a Scottish woman. I was telling him, and he used to bounces on his knees singing the Canny Push a Granny.
Can you granny push a granny off the bus?
Yeah, canny.
You canny
push a granny.
I can't get it right.
Right, Ecky, right, so just something I say. Are you going up the town shopping today?
Are we going shopping today?
No, you get say it in a Scottish accent. Are you going up the town shopping today?
Are you going shopping today?
Are you going shopping today?
Are you going shopping today? I can't do it.
Hen. You say hen.
Oh,
if you're coming to Scotland in the near future, you need to get the Scottish books out. We need to,
I love it.
I
love it. I love the way you guys talk.
It is awesome.
It's a whole different language, really is. Scottish compared, no offence to the English, and Scottish compared to Welsh and everybody else. Scotland just seems to have this. The same as Irish, we can have a language of our own, and how Americans understand us.
I say curly whirly in Irish.
You sound a bit Northern Ireland.
I'm Northern Ireland. I fail. I could do more Italian American. That's better for me.
You should do that at one of your events one night, getting kid on your Italian or Irish or something. And then at the end of it, just speaking your normal voice, totally freaked for it. That's what you were Irish. No. Just I don't you be speaking, talk Irish the full night, and then the last 5 minutes, start talking your normal accent, because you'll get some you were Irish. Say, no, I'm Irish. Why do you think I was Irish? And they start
starting the ghost hunt. Right, guys, we're going to do an Irish jig tonight. We're going to work like this. We're going to get the cardboards out. You get your doors and rods out. But then I just start talking English.
There's one great thing that come out of Scotland, though, isn't it?
I am Brew.
Well, I am Brew.
Oh,
I am Brew.
It isn't. It's when you go, will you send back a letter from America? It's the Proclaimer, isn't it? And I will walk 500 miles.
I love that song.
I love the Proclaimers.
Brilliant song.
Oh.
I'm nuts.
I love it. Love it.
There's a con. Should have had me doing the Scottish accent, having lived there. Jojo.
Jojo. Yeah, Jojo, our team. Yeah, one of our team leaders. She's lived in Scotland, so she should be. Yes,
yeah,
we need to get her on next time.
She's fluent in Scotland.
Next time, Jojo, you'll be coming up here as well. If you're free, dog, to come up, it'd be brought to have you on the panel for a wee while with the Scottish people. That was
awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
we do have to do a group one. We have to do a big one with all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
But we find that we have to mute because otherwise it all interferes. I think that's how it works with StreamYard.
Aye, we've done big panels before with like the CRA and what have you. The most we're allowed is 10, and we done a quiz night with CRA, you know, the film company for America, and we had a full panel. And there was a few problems with echo and bouncing back and forward. But
we muted.
We can do a full panel and just keep, muting definitely. We'll get that set up. We get you back on with Jojo.
Yes,
that'd be
definitely.
awesome. Yeah, we have to put our hands up and then press so we can talk, and then if you run it and then you just dictate who you want to talk to, and then we unmute. That's how we worked last time, and it worked. It works better. Yeah.
We'll get that set up. Ladies, I'll hang on to you for a wee minute after we come off the live. Aye. Right. There's Kathy trying it as well. I'll just come down from the other sky. I'm not very big and I'm awfully shy. The lassie shoot. When I go by, Donald, where's your trousers?
I've just come down from the Isle of Skye. No, I can't. I'm sorry, Kathy.
I've just come down from the Isle of Skye. I'm not very big. I'm awful shy. The lasses shoot when I go to Donald, wear your trousers. That was awful.
Yeah, I'm reading it and I'm like, I've just come down from the Isle of Skye, and I'm very big on awfully shy. And lassies shoot, I go by down Donald where I wear trousers.
That sounds better.
There you go.
He's loose along his hoofs.
What that means, aye.
Loose along his hoofs.
The lassies shout when I go by, Donald, where's your trousers? So he's wearing a kilt.
Right, okay. Lasses shoot when I go by, Donald, wear trousers. Trousers. As long as you've got a pout. Trousers. I like it.
Trousers.
Yeah. So that's
thank you, Kathy.
Thanks for that, Kathy. That was funny.
That was good.
We entertained you.
So the basic, where's your trousers?
Where's your trousers on? I love it.
It's brilliant. Where's your trousers?
Before we go, ladies, if you want to give your group and everything a plug, fire in.
Definitely. So, guys, Portal to the Paranormal, Pttp. We're based in Southampton, Hampshire.
Got a website, www.portaltotheparanormal.co.uk. Check out our events list and come on one of our events if you if you're down south.
If you're down south,
well, we've got
and you fancy it.
Yeah, we're all over the UK. We've got a few spots. There's one in Wales as well, isn't there? And Manchester.
So you've got Antwerp Mansion. That's the 13th of November. It's £40. It's a sleepover, so you don't need to worry about hotel prices.
Just bring your sleeping bag.
Just your sleeping bag.
A hot
if
bottle.
you dare to sleep.
Yeah.
We might bring hot dogs.
Loads of history there.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's Leeds, isn't there? There's 30 East Drive in Leeds. When's that one?
So that is, that's next year, 2022. It's gone, so it might have sold out.
Where's Shrepton Mallet? Where's that?
No, it's there. 10th of June 2022, and that is £60 for an overnight stay as well. Again, don't have to worry about where you're sleeping because you're sleeping at 30 East Drive if you book your tickets.
And where's Shrepton?
Shrepton Mallet is February the 11th next year, and that's £55 a ticket. We're there till 3:30 in the morning, I believe. I went there Tuesday. You do not want to miss this prison. It's fantastic.
And Margam Castle. That's in Wales.
Castle. Yeah.
That is on Saturday, the 8th of January. Is that
2022? Yeah, next January. So shout out to all of our team members: Dan, Lauren, Jojo, Sean, Nikki, Jamie,
Nando,
you, and Nando.
Yeah.
Hey,
thanks for having us, Scott.
Yep. Busy ladies, busy group. Definitely give them a wee look up, folks, and a wee follow and a like, and all the usual toys and whistles, you know. But I'll keep a hold of you just for a wee minute, girls, if that's all right. Thanks everybody for coming in tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was fun.
Time's flew by. We're back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock with Mark Edgerton. We're going to be talking about what's the difference, if any, between a daytime and a nighttime investigation. Mark's been here a few times. He wrote the book The Haunted History of Hunting the Shy. He's been in the paranormal for 40 plus years, and he was trained by the one and only Peter Underwood. So him and I are on panel tomorrow night, have a wee chat about investigations and no doubt other stuff as well. But we'll leave you for just now, and it's been a blast. So take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.